106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hey guys, it's Thursday, May 8th. It's Double Impact. Welcome. I'm your host, Gabe. I don't have my lights on here. Sorry about that. How's everyone doing today? We're going to have a fun one. We couldn't do it last week because Jericho had to leave early, but I'm very, very excited about the show. How's everyone doing? Tony's looking for me all the way from Australia. Rem Dog is here. Hardy Harmonica, Hunter Bautista. Welcome, everyone. Jericho should be here in just a second. So, yeah, we're moving the show, obviously. What is this right here? What is that? It's a lighting thing. It's from the green screen. Sorry, guys. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It'll go away. We're moving the show to Thursdays at 7:30, which you're watching right now. Just because schedule stuff, family and other business, that's got to take a priority. And Jericho asked me if we could do the change. So I said, sure. How about Thursday at 7? He says, how's Thursday at 7:30? So that's what we're going to try now. It doesn't make a difference to me working for myself. You know what I mean? My schedule's pretty flexible. So where have I been? What have I been up to? I have been working diligently on my comics. That's what I've been doing. I wish I'd do more YouTube, but I made an executive decision as the executive of Big Man Comics to take a little bit of time off and really focus. I had to do lettering. I had to do script, a little bit of script rewrite, a bunch of editing, things like that. But we are nearing completion of some great projects. The Unstoppable Tyrus, I finished page 83 today. And colors are starting to come in on that, and it's looking gorgeous. So I'm very, very happy about it. And let me share with you the cover for Imperium that I illustrated. No, this thing, not that thing. Hold on. Remove. Trying to add it here. There it is. There it is. So this is my cover here. This is the Adobe Photoshop file, and I hired a guy who's doing a fantastic job. He's going to color the Tyrus book, and he's coloring this. But I hope this captures the fun. We got that Indiana Jones kind of smile on Oliver's face here, the evil emperor there, who's this scary robot-looking dude, the wife of the good guy Oliver, Elvira. I hope this captures cosmic adventure and stuff like that. I think I have a version of it with the trade dress on, too. Let me see. Oh, no, this isn't it. This is the PDF here. So this would be a PDF of the actual book, and then we go through and make spelling corrections here. So anything I misspell will be written on the sidebar here when my editor gets a hold of it. But let's read this here. In a world ruled by fear, a shadow looms over the planet Solus, where one man's lies darken the stars. The iron grip of the tyrant Casimir crushes all hope under the guise of providence. Promising salvation, he rules as a false god. Yet when whispers of a true paradise, Nova Terra, stir in the ancient relics of a forgotten faith. Daring pilot Oliver and relentless scientist Elvira uncover a truth the regime would kill to bury. As Casimir's loyal enforcer, Colonel Red, and the merciless cyborg Skaith close in, sabotage and betrayal threatens their quest. Through the void of space, a rebellion ignites. Will the promised world be their deliverance or their doom? This is fun. This is everything I loved about Star Wars. Interstellar is a big movie for me from 2014 about the aspect of love combined with sci-fi and family and fathers and children and wives and mothers and all that. So just having an absolute blast working on this. The crowdfund for this will happen sooner than you think. Sooner than you think. We're working out final details on that. And yeah, we're going to have the same excellent quality as we did with CAIN All-American Lawman. The guys, those of you out there that got that, you know it's flawless. You know that's a gorgeous book. And we still just have a handful of those in stock. Making plans for San Diego this July, for San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, that's always my favorite convention. Living here in San Diego, just a few minutes away from the convention center. That's a home game for me, is how I feel about it. It's my city. I like when my friends from around the globe and out of town, they come into San Diego for the convention, take them around, show them the real good food, show them my city, and just have a blast celebrating this art form that we love. So I got my exhibitor badges and all that done. If you don't register your badge by today for Comic-Con, you cannot have it mailed to your house. You have to go down there and pick it up when the show starts in July. So we got a crew of people that are going to be down there. We're going to be running the booth. You're going to be able to meet us in person and get a hold of some comics. What I plan on having, don't hold me to this, is a preview of the Tyrus comic. Have like a 30-page preview of that, or so don't hold me to the number. A preview of the Tyrus comic in color and all that you can get there. Limited edition, only be available in limited quantities. We're going to keep that one at a low quantity. And then, of course, Imperium, I should have that on hand there too. And then, of course, we'll have some CAIN and some new announcements. So July it'll be here rapidly, like 2.5 months. I can't believe it. The year is, where does the time go? I felt like, I remember talking to my grandmother when I was 17 and I was a senior in high school. And I told her like the last year had gone so quickly. You know, and she says, yeah, when she was about 17 or 18, she noticed how fast the weeks, days, months, years just start to go by. And I think obviously that happens to everyone. And a theory I've always had is because when you're little, you've lived less. So a day, a week, a month is more significant. As you get older, it's like, well, we've been through these months and these years and all this many, many times. So, and I also think it has something to do with being so busy. The Western way of life, but specifically the American way of life, we're too busy. And that's something my wife and I have been having a lot of long talks about and trying to back off on. And it's why I did myself a favor and backed off recording all that extra content for YouTube. And I will return to it, but I got to focus. I was doing just too many things. And I love you guys. I love talking to you. The chat and all that is, oh, look at this. In the chat, Lee Duhigg. Now, if you want to know about Lee Duhigg, he's that good-looking fellow down there. A lot of this is his work in here. I colored like the first 40 pages of this book, but if you go to later, he and Blonde, who's another industry veteran, they teamed up and made something real special here. This is some of Lee's work here. I was just so pleased with what Lee did. I don't want to spoil it all, but I mean, look at that action. They're flying through a city in a flying car. You got a nice car chase in your Fifth Element, Blade Runner, Star Wars style flying, and the hero is shooting back on the back deck of that flying car with this laser blaster, ion bolt. That's what we call them in the universe I've made up here. And it's just, we're trying to capture all that action. And we have that fun rapport between Indiana Jones and Marion, Han Solo and Princess Leia. I always try to keep that between the husband and wife team of Oliver and Elvira. But we have daring thrills, just like in CAIN All-American Lawman, some mind-bending sci-fi, a lot of love and family stuff, robots slipping through space and time. No time travel. We didn't touch that. I think time travel might be really confusing to write. But thank you for the compliment on the cover. Thank you, Lee. And we'll have Lee back for more projects of Big Man Comics in the future. So Heather says the artwork is amazing. You know what would be amazing is if Jericho showed up. I told him 7. He said 7:30, and it is now 7:44. So whatever we do, see, so here's what I got to do. If I want Jericho at 7:30, I got to tell him 7. We got to play tricks on Jericho. I remember if you, Tyrus, my friend Tyrus, were making the awesome Tyrus comic book. I'll show you some of that artwork too. And the colors on that are coming out gorgeous. Here, let me open this. In his book, he was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard for years, Tyrus. And he said to get him to go to places on time, you kind of had to fudge the start time. you know, and I don't remember the exact math that Tyrus and his buddies came up with, but the algorithm was something like, you know, if we got to have Snoop Dogg here at 7, then we got to tell him it's at 4. It was something like that. So I think we need the same thing with Jericho. But here's a little bit of Tyrus right here. He's in the locker room. The wrestling commissioner's talking to him, and you know, getting pretty sassy, pretty rude with Tyrus, our buddy here, and then it breaks out into a fight. Now you shouldn't punch your boss. You know, it depends what the guy said, but you shouldn't punch your boss. It's probably illegal. But if you think this comic is about wrestling and just regular street fights between humans, you are very wrong. This is how it starts. But and he gets tased. Don't tase him, bro. So this is my ink illustration. Aikion laid this book out for me. Gorgeous pencil layouts. I'm doing the finished ink illustration on this. You guys saw that in a bunch of my live streams. And then we got the same guy that did the Imperium cover with me. He's doing the colors here. There are more pages. I don't want to spoil too much. But so I'm going to have a preview of this at Comic-Con. But I love what he did with the lighting here. And those tattoos, I'll show you how that's done. Here's a little trick what you do. So I bought a Tyrus action figure, and I took a bunch of pictures of it, right? And they have these tattoos printed on there. I'll show you this. Hold on. This is because you can't draw these tattoos. You can't draw them in every panel. And the reason you can't draw them in every panel is they'll obscure the muscles because you're trying to draw all those biceps and deltoids. And so what I did is I created a file. Those are the tattoos there. And I created it based off of this action figure that I went and bought on eBay. I bought this action figure, posed it at different angles, took a bunch of pictures, and then I hand drew all these tattoos in a file where each tattoo is on its own layer. So then when I send it to the guy to color, he takes these tattoos and he pops them on, and then he distorts them and warps them in Photoshop. So makes them around, makes them in perspective, in and out of the camera. So that way we can fade them so they're a little bit light gray and they don't interfere with the detail of the muscle. So that was kind of the solution I came up with for how we were going to handle the tattoos. Because again, if you were to try and draw these tattoos, it would interfere with the shapes of the muscles and some of the heavy shadows you want to do. So that's our solution on the tattoos. I came up with that on the preview we did. So yeah, so those get pasted in after the fact, the tattoos. But I couldn't be more impressed with Andrew's colors. He's doing an outstanding job. But and I had so much fun writing this. I just rewrote the last 25 pages. Writing jokes, I wrote a lot of comedy, won awards for my comedy writing, and then writing stories. All art to me is the same. It's the punchline is everything, right? One of the, I think it was Lasseter or Brad Bird, one of the big dogs at Pixar Animation, you know, Toy Story, Monsters, Inc. He said, and everyone who writes knows this, if you don't get the ending, you failed as a story writer, because basically what a story is an argument. My story is an argument that this is true. Everything I'm telling you for the whole 3 acts up to that climax, I'm telling you blah, 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 plus blah, blah. These people do this and life is like this and this guy does that and believes that, then this is true. And if you don't nail that ending, your story ain't great. So, you know, I wrote this comic a long time ago. I wrote it. I came up with the idea with Tyrus like a year ago. I didn't start writing it until like the summer, the fall. I think I finished writing it in November. You know, I write many drafts. And I was never really happy with the ending. The ending was enough. The ending made my point. But the ending, it didn't have that twist, that zzz. And Aikion, the guy doing the layouts for me, he said, you know, what about this? What about that? And while I didn't go with what he said, it got me really thinking. And I rewrote the finale, the crazy fight climax stuff at the end. And I'm so happy that he bothered me about that. That's one thing about Aikion I can't give enough credit for, is how blunt and honesty. And now he's from Paris. And the reputation I hear is that Parisians are kind of like New Yorkers. Some people say it's rude. I just say it's direct. And if he doesn't like something or something is a little off to him, he'll just tell you. It's like, that's kind of funny. That's a little weird. I don't think that's good. And so he kind of told me the ending of this, it's a little, and now it's golden. It's golden. And it just dialed it in a touch. We had the ending, but the way I was able to come up with a few more things, it just added that spice. You know what I mean? You ever eat something that has salt? It's fine, but it just doesn't have enough. And you just 2-3 shakes on your plate, and you're like, okay, this is heaven now. And that's what we're able to do. So I rewrote that like 2 weeks ago, got it off to him. He was like, yes. So we're cooking on that. He only has 20-ish pages to lay out for me. I got 30-something, maybe 40. What do I have left? I'm on 83. I have 42 more inks to go. So I'll be done by the end of June. I'll be done with this sucker. And then Tyrus's stand-up comedy tour is done around the end of July. So I think we're going to crowdfund, advertise it right after Comic-Con. I'll have that little preview book of it, hopefully at Comic-Con, of the Tyrus book. You guys are going to be blown away. You're going to freaking love this book. It's so much fun. So I'm really excited, very happy with what we're doing. Couldn't be more thrilled. Because I think it's important with this stuff to entertain. I think that's the most important aspect of everything we're doing here. It's hard-earned money. The economy's still recovering from 4 years of Biden world. That was something. Trump's an idiot. That's what they say. And then he just closed one of the best trade deals ever with Britain today. That's nice. And all the other countries are coming to the table to make better trade deals and quit using America as the world's piggy bank. Quit taking advantage of us. Nothing wrong with that. And the economy is recovering. The stock market's on fire. My stocks. I have the best stocks. I love my stocks. I do. I don't check it often. I haven't checked it like in a week or so, but I checked it today and I was like, I like where this is going. So, but the economy is still hard for a lot of you. Wages have not kept up with inflation for like the better part of 40 years, basically, right? Since like Nixon, Gerald Ford, the wages have not kept up with inflation at all. So, I know when you give me a penny, I better deliver. I feel obligated. There's no way I'll rip you off. There's no way I'll delay the stuff for years. And then it comes out and it's crap anyway. There's no way. You know how many revisions we've gone on? Not revisions, but like spell checks and art checks. I think I was up to Rev 8 right now. And not that there were a lot of errors in it, but we just go over it and over it and over it and over it. And you'll find a little thing sometimes in the spell check and all that. Like you're like, you can't do that. And then it says you can't do that. You know what I mean? And your brain will erase that second one sometimes, or you won't put a period at the end of a sentence or something like that. Or you'll transpose a letter. Like instead of writing the word CAN for can, it'll be CNA like that. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of words in these, and it's 120 pages. So I think we're on Rev 8 on all that, just checking and checking and checking and checking. So I want to give you guys the best possible product because that's real money you're giving me. I get that, man, and I want you to be thrilled. I want you to be overjoyed when you get this thing. I want you to feel like, yeah, this made my life better. The dollars I gave Gabe for this made my life better. I'm a better person for having this beautiful piece of art and this wonderful story. So, because everything we talk about on here with these great movies that we, maybe Jericho forgot the shows today. I'm going to text him. I'll call him on the air. I'm going to call him on the air. I'll put him on speaker. Hold on. Let me call him. But all the movies Jericho and I review, and it means a lot to us when the stories are good and uplifting. Well, first, they have to be entertaining. Should I call him? I'm just fooling around. I hope he doesn't think I'm being rude. So let's see. It's ringing.
What up?
Hey, did you forget we were doing the show?
I did not. I'm just getting in my studio right now. I just got home.
Okay, I thought maybe you forgot because it's a different day.
Oh,
So.
no.
All right, I'll see you, buddy. All right, bye-bye. There he goes. All right, so he's on his way. He was delayed. He's a cool guy. He's got a lot of cool things going on. So there we are. That's the status of that stuff. I'm so pleased and so grateful to you guys that every day I get to wake up and work on this. It's so fun to think, I was sitting in my office drawing this. It's wonderful. And you guys make it happen. And you're a part of it. You're not just, customers. You're part of it because you're supporting it. You're making it come true. And then hopefully I think you will really, really, really love your decision to support this stuff, to crowdfund it, to help me just keep growing this. Because I have big plans. I do believe in Walt Disney's great quote, if you can dream it, you can do it. And you guys don't even know the dreams I have for this stuff. The biggest. If you can think of it, what you can do with media, that's the kind of plans I have for this stuff. But I need you guys to make it happen. It's not, I think that's one thing in life that's hard for people to be okay with. As many of you know, I grew up, my parents got divorced and my parents kind of fought and stuff before they divorced. And we kind of lived with my dad mostly, but then we were away a couple times for an extended period of time. So when you grow up like that, you have like issues with neglect and self-worth and all this stuff. And you do have to work on it. You can't ask your parents to fix it for you now that you're in your 30s or 40s. Like it's your job to fix it now, even if you didn't cause it. But when you have neglect, you're not getting your needs met, right? And if you don't get your needs met in the proper way, growing up, I've researched this deeply, scientific research on this, experts, doctors, and stuff. When you don't get your needs met, and many of you have gone through this because you come from broken homes and stuff like that, you have a weird guilt. You have a shame about yourself. You feel guilty getting what you need. So what you might do is passive aggressively try and get what you need an indirect way. This is nice guy syndrome, right? If I'm nice to her and I do her homework and I give her a ride home, then she'll date me and she won't date the bad boy. And it never, ever works. And you don't have to just apply it to romance. You can apply it to your job, to your parents, to your siblings, and romantic partners, and everything you do, and even yourself. You won't allow yourself to really say what you want. You won't allow yourself to have what you want because you were taught you are wrong. Just you existing, you're wrong. And you wanting things, get the hell out of here. Why should you have that? That's this little subconscious voice in your head when you go through a lot of neglect, parental neglect growing up, and divorce causes that. And I caught myself last night doing it because I'm mostly healed of this. I'm mostly I deserve to have a good life and work for it and be happy and have the things I want and all that. And I was hungry last night and I didn't eat much during the day. I was working a lot and I just got a hankering for like chicken and mashed potatoes. And I didn't want to drive all the way to this one cafe I like. And I was like, oh, this other one in the college party part of town, but they don't have mashed potatoes. And I was like, I'll go to KFC. Whatever. And I got this subconscious weird thing going in the bottom of my, it was subconscious. It wasn't even in my awake part of my brain, but it was like, don't go there. What are people going to think? That's junk food. That's a waste of money. You know how expensive fast food is nowadays? People are going to see you get that. You're going to bring that home, your kids, your wife, they're going to see you eating that. They're going to know you're wasting money. You're eating unhealthy food. And I gotten this hey, Jericho, how you doing, bud?
What's up?
I'm talking about a shame spiral I got in.
Ooh.
And I got into the shame spiral about it. And I was like, what the hell's going on after 10 minutes of this debating in my head? And I realized it's like those little fragments from the childhood of divorce and being alone and not getting your needs met. So then your needs are evil and you shouldn't have what you want. And it was Jericho, I was telling him, I just wanted to get some KFC last night and I got in this weird guilt trip about it, that I shouldn't have it. I should be ashamed. It's too much money. It's not healthy. What will people think? Your kids are like, hey, I thought you were losing weight and blah, blah. And all this insanity, not real insanity, thankfully. And I was telling the audience, because I'm sure many of them deal with this. When you have that neglect of never having a dad around when you're little, your needs, you're ashamed of them. And I thought I'd mostly conquered that. And it just flared up in the weirdest way about KFC 5 chicken strip meal deal with a biscuit and 2 sides. And I got all weirdly guilty about it. And then I got mad at myself. What are you, a lunatic? Buy yourself chicken and fucking eat it. Why do you think the restaurant exists? It exists so people can enjoy chicken. Knock it off. This is crazy.
So you got to remember the KFC slogan from the early 90s. Everybody needs a little KFC.
Damn right.
So next time you have that issue, just remember that slogan. Everybody needs a little KFC.
Now I know you had issues with this and that, but do you ever suffer from guilt of giving yourself what you need or what you want? Do you ever get funny like that? Because it happens to me. It was my whole life up until about 10 years ago. And then I started doing deep work, talked to, looked into therapists, read a bunch of books, all this stuff. But my whole life was that way, or just a lot of angry and fuck you guys, I'll just do it all myself, because I didn't realize anyone could love me or help me or anything like that. So it's very bitter. And I would do everything myself. I was a very high achiever, but I was so bitter that I did it all myself. And I'm going to come back down to earth with normal people and realize, hey, people like you and they'll just help you. That's how most people are. Have you ever struggled with this, or you have no idea what I'm talking about?
I mean, I understand what you mean. I've had usually I would struggle with that if it were taken away from my family, if it were taking time away from them or money away from them for something that I really shouldn't indulge in. That's the only time I'd really struggle with it. But then again, the other side of the double-edged sword is not having the confidence, for lack of a better word, to give those things to yourself. That can be a detriment too. Having no fail safes and no breaks whatsoever, fuck it, I'm doing it.
That's the other extreme. Yeah.
So that can be bad too, but we hope for a healthy medium, somewhere in the middle where occasionally we do dabble. And it's okay. I think if you're questioning it that seriously, then that means it is okay. Yeah. That means that you don't do it often. And it's okay. It's okay to hit that pressure relief valve, 1 KFC meal, the 5-piece with the biscuit or the chicken fingers, whatever. It is not going to undo all of the hard work you've
Right.
done. And if one meal can undo everything you've done,
You got other
fuck
problems.
doing it. Yeah, fuck that. So it's all right, man. It's not like you're gonna get home and Adrian's gonna smell that shit on your breath, turn the lights on, wake up the family, and fucking.
It's like it's like getting caught at a strip club, only it's a chicken restaurant. Where have you been? What is that? Is that chicken?
We smell your fingers. But I think she would be happy. I think she would be happy if she knew that you treated yourself.
Right.
Because as men, we treat so many others not only with our money but our time, our effort. So it's okay to bathe yourself in a little bit of that.
I'm not. I would never, ever, ever. I have a bad mouth a relative, so I'm saying this from an analytical, scientific point of view. I have a relative super neglected growing up, and they're an older relative. They were like neglected, and they can't handle giving themselves anything they want. They buy their shoes at the Salvation Army. They drive piece of shit cars. They, cut their own hair. They won't pay for anything. They got a lot of money, this person. They own multiple houses, all this stuff, but they're so mean and cheap to themselves. And if you do anything for yourself in front of this person, they freak out about it. If you walk into this person's house with like a coffee, oh, Mr. Big Shot with his Starbucks. What's that, $5? And it's not, I realized through the years, they're not attacking me. They're so uncomfortable with themselves and the idea of giving themselves anything from all the neglect that to see other people do it, like, you know what I mean? It's like sucking on a lemon for them. It's freaking them out. So they harass you about it. And then it's a way for them to be like, see, I would never do that. I would never do that. I'm a good person, because all that neglect informs them that their needs and their wants and their desires are evil, because that's what happens when you're neglected when you're little. So, I had a weird KFC thing last night, but I fucking ate it. And then I watched Magnum Force, the second Dirty Harry movie. Outstanding. Haven't seen it before. Loved that movie.
Hey, if you're going to have KFC, follow that shit up with some Magnum Force. That's the best way to wash it down.
Clint Eastwood. He's got those little eyes, but they bulge sometimes,
Punk. Dude, nothing like it. And his son is Clint Eastwood, a young Clint Eastwood. Forget about it, ladies. Try to keep your underwear on if you can.
Never going to happen.
But his son, Scott Eastwood, man, that's a good looking young man right there. Like, dude, not only were you raised by one of the greatest actors we've ever seen, money, the whole nine, but you look like that. Like some people they get some nice cards, but life has a way of evening things out. I bet he wishes that his dad was around more. I bet he wishes that, he got to spend more time with his dad, just being a dad, not being Clint Eastwood, you know?
Yeah, and he's still around. He's 95 now or something like that.
Dude, I mean, the day is going to come soon, that Clint Eastwood passes. What a day. I was thinking about that the other day. I think of a movie of his I was watching, or I saw it on Netflix or some shit, and I thought, it's like, man, he's old. He's going to be passing, 95 years old. It's going to happen.
Right.
And what a sad day that'll be. We'll definitely have to give a tribute to what I believe firmly, fight me in the comments if you want, the greatest Western actor, hands down, and one of the greatest movie directors we've ever seen.
I agree with you. He's the greatest Western actor in my opinion, completely. I don't dislike John Wayne, but I'm just like, John Wayne, whatever, he's good. But
he's different. He's for a different crowd. He's for like our grandparents.
Yeah, I just don't care.
That's their guy. Yeah,
well, because he doesn't have the grittiness or the edge to him, John Wayne, because they kind of didn't make movies like that. And famously, John Wayne, Walt Disney, and those people, they were against filth in Hollywood in the 50s during that whole McCarthy thing and the blacklisting of the communists, which they were right to do.
Yeah.
Run those commies out of this country. None the Miser makes an astute observation. Allison Eastwood. Now, I am famous for not degrading. I am famous for downplaying the beauty of blonde women. That's what I'm famous for on the show. Not degrading. She's a bit all right, this lady.
Yeah, she's not getting kicked out of bed for
look at those full lips.
That's for sure.
And she's got that thing that it's not a kink, just that thing I like. She's got a honker. You can tell she's got a bit of a nose. See, you're a foot weirdo, but I'm a nose guy.
I'm not a weirdo. No, that's not weird. I think every man prefers a woman with pretty feet. You don't want to look down and get confused. You're laying in bed and you pull the covers back and you don't know if you're looking at her feet or your feet. No, There should be a distinct difference.
How often are you going to see your woman's feet, dude? Are you looking at the
Oh,
ground?
well, Gabe, hey, those of us who live where it gets above 80 for more than a week, ladies like to wear flip-flops and dresses and things of that nature, and you're going to see them walking around the house.
Here's how I know you're a secret foot weirdo, and you can admit it. I love you. You're my brother. You could tell me you love feet in a disgusting way, and I'll still love you. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's a safe place. Here's why I know you love them too much. You said you wouldn't date Cindy Crawford if she had ugly feet. And I'm talking 1993 Cindy Crawford.
I mean, yeah, does she need to be quantified in any decade? But I know what you mean. But, dude, I have no problem telling you if I'm into fucked up shit. And I'm not. But I think women's feet are attractive. And if a woman has ugly feet, get out of here with that shit. No way. I don't care how many points, what your beauty credit score is. She can have a beauty credit score of 800. And if you got some dogs, if you got some gnarled, fucked up looking feet, all 800 score.
I don't care if some gorgeous lady standing on those Wampa feet from Star Wars. I don't care.
She look like a barefoot soccer champ. No thanks, dude. Get those fucking hammer toes out of here.
You can avoid the feet because it's at the end of the body. You can't avoid anything else. It's all in the middle. The feet you can just ignore.
No, the feet.
Just buy some nice shoes.
That'll make the blood rush elsewhere. No, thank you.
I don't know. Think about what you think about this. One of my dad's patients is married to Clint Eastwood's daughter. He was telling my dad, but he didn't believe him. You're like, no, you're not, liar.
Yeah, stop lying. But you've seen stories like that where famous people are like, yeah, some even more famous person called and asked to meet with me, and they're like, shut the fuck up, and they hang up on them. Then they call back like, oh, this really is, Clint Eastwood or some super A-list. I mean, beyond A-list. I mean, Clint Eastwood's been an A-list actor for fucking decades, so he's beyond the A-list.
Magnum Force was great. We should do it. It's so 70s though. Because during the chase scenes, they have the most cocaine-inspired music. It's like a weird jazz funk thing. Yeah, and he's chasing one of the bad guys on the rooftops right there by, you can see Alcatraz in the background. And the guy falls through a skylight and lands on a table in a room where they're filming a porno with like 6 people. Yes. It's like the most cocaine 70s thing of all time.
You said 70s.
Yeah.
That's when the whole porn industry really kicked off. That's who wants AIDS.
I was not expecting that. The guy fell through the window and he lands on, it wasn't a bed, but it was like a table with a big red velvet cloth. And, these women who were engaging in whatever 30 seconds ago, now they're like,
Twister.
All of a sudden they have shame.
They were playing Twister. You know what? There's a movie out there, and I would venture to say that you've never heard of it because of your limited viewing in your youth. But Clint Eastwood has a movie, I believe it's 1990 or 1991, and it's called The Rookie, and it's with Charlie Sheen.
Okay.
Great movie. But there's a scene in there where you see Clint Eastwood in a situation you've never seen him in before. I'll put it that way. But it was a little jarring because you're just not used to.
Is he in love with a dude?
No, hell no, it ain't that jarring. No way.
I was trying to think of the most opposite of Clint Eastwood thing I could think of.
No. Not that far. Come back, Gabe. Come back.
Okay.
You went too far.
Overshot.
You did. You sure did. But it's just a situation you've never seen Clint Eastwood in before. And I'm not saying it's bad. It was just whoa. But it's a really good movie. The Rookie with Charlie Sheen is fucking awesome.
All right. We are going to distinguish the truth out of you. I'm like putting the cuff on you like the lie detector. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Okay, hold on a second.
Let's
open image in new tab. I've got a test, and we'll see if you can pass it. Okay.
I pass all tests.
We're gonna do a little role play,
especially AIDS tests.
Hi. Okay, so this woman, you were
Penelope Cruz.
This is one of the most beautiful actresses ever. Dainty, feminine, gorgeous. Little bit of a honker, but not too big, but just right.
Honk.
Gorgeous smile. Here's how we prove that you're a foot.
Yeah, you don't want to do coke with her for sure.
Hey, you're hogging it all.
What the fuck, lady?
Here's how we prove that you're into feet in a way that maybe you shouldn't be.
Might be unhealthy.
We're gonna role play this a little bit. Hello, Jericho.
Okay.
I saw you across the room. I saw your strong shoulders and your bald head. It's so masculine.
Yeah.
I want you to take me up to your hotel suite. And you're like, yes. And you're not married in this scenario. This is 20-year-old Navy playa Jericho. Okay?
Yeah, this is another dimension.
You've run into her in Barcelona, Spain. Okay.
Barcelona.
And she is looking to get it and get some more from you. And she's dressed like this. And then you look down, you see this.
She's dressed like this. You know, if you're talking 20-year-old Jericho before I was refined, if you will.
Refined, man.
Oh, yeah. When I was still rough around the edges, you know, when I thought a bologna sandwich was peak cuisine, then, yeah, a young foolish.
No, those are like 3-inch talons, just so you know.
Hey, girl, snatch us some salmon out of that river.
There you go.
But, you know, before I was, you know, civilized, when I was uncouth, that probably wouldn't have been much of a speed bump in the road.
But now it is.
But once I've been to the mountaintop, I've seen what's out there. And after you've tasted of the finest nectar, then you can't bring me some fucking swill, you know.
Can't you just not look down at these feet, though?
I can't. There's a perfect movie. There's an Eddie Murphy movie from 1992 called Boomerang. And he has that same thing. Like you know, after he gets with a woman, she's passed out, he'll pull the covers back and look at her feet and be like, damn. He's looking for that woman who has, you know, that final piece, you know, attractive, blah, 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 blah. But what about the feet? And needless to say, some of the women he hooked up with, the feet were not the business. Who I feel bad for is the lady who had to be the foot stand-in. Like, yeah, who has fucked up feet? You do? Great. Get in here.
I always do feel bad for the lady that has to play the ugly woman or the fat woman, and that's kind of the point of the character in the movie. Like, well, it's a paycheck, I guess. Like they say on the Flintstones when the pterodactyl's doing the dishes, it's a living.
Right. It's a living. You know, hey, just like Paula Deen, the reason she got in trouble was because I mean, aside from using the N-word when she was 18, you mean to tell me you're a white person in the South in like the 50s and you don't say that word? Get out of here. I almost want you to. But she got in trouble because she catered a plantation-themed event. And what I thought when I first heard that was, well, if the black people signed up for the gig and put on the little jacket with the bow tie and they're walking around with a tray full of drinks saying, yowza, boss, then why are you getting mad at Paula Deen? They took the job. They were playing the part. Why are you getting mad at her? You took it. Hey, it's a living. You took the job. So how is she getting in trouble for the shit they did?
I think it's really weird that she got canned for that. Did you say a word decades ago? She's like, yep. And they're like, yep. All right, you lose everything. And I'm like, hold on a minute. It was first of all, it was decades ago. Second of all, she could have just lied. You couldn't prove it. Like, at least she has the dignity to just like tell the truth. That whole thing is stupid. What if that lady that's up to like $600,000-$700,000 for yelling at that kid?
Drop the M-bomb on that kid? Yeah. I mean, that's messed up because it's a kid, right? You know, but look, I mean, I don't think anybody's above being called that. If you earn it, then you get it. But yeah, it's messed up to call a little kid that, but should she be doxxed and death threats? Like, chill the fuck out. That's ridiculous. You're making people, because people have, well, I talked about this in a video today. It's called black fatigue. They're getting tired of this shit. They're getting tired of every time they don't say bless you, that's racism, black women, oppression, America's racist, systemic racism. People are getting worn out, and it's reflected in her GoFundMe. That's why she has almost she's going to hit $1 million because there are white folks out there and other folks, I'm sure, who are sick of this shit. So that's why that lady has $700,000. Yeah,
if you think about it, the average person is not racist at all and is tired of being called it and tired of walking on eggshells. You know, and here's, you know, I see the black white, of which I am neither. And I will tell you, as someone who's neither, it is fucking tiresome.
It's exhausting.
You want to tell the two sides, hey, knock it off.
Well, really it's
knock it off. You're being played like fools. You don't hate each other. You don't really have a problem. And the powers that be, you ever heard of divide and conquer? Maybe
that's say that again.
This shit. Jeez.
It is two sides, but it's the guilt-ridden white liberal who wants to feel better, and it's the black person who wants to be lazy and it may have excuses made for them. Oh, it's
Right.
not their fault because of something that happened they were never around for. That's like a Japanese person, you know, having this vitriol hatred for the Hiroshima or some shit. Well,
Right.
you were born in 1995. Your shadow wasn't permanently put on the concrete. Your watch didn't stop at 8:15 in the morning. So what the fuck are you? Shut up. Everybody did horrible shit to each other at one time or another. For everybody. And guess who did the worst shit to him? The one who looked just like him. So I don't blame him. I wish nobody would use that word. I mean, yeah, on paper, everybody's saying she said it to an autistic black kid. How the fuck does she know he's autistic? Like, and why was he able to roam around and go through her bag? Where was his parent? My 5-year-old's never been at the park and went rummaging, even had the time or the opportunity to go rummaging through somebody's shit.
My favorite part of the story is the guy that filmed her to try to cancel her.
Right?
He allegedly has a pretty interesting background.
He's a pervert. And he was convicted.
And he was, I'll just say allegedly because I don't know the details. I'm not getting into any trouble legally. Allegedly, weird stuff, young people, this guy. That's alleged, YouTube. And he's at the park alone with the camera. That's interesting.
Right? She should have called him that.
Allegedly alone at the park. Fucking YouTube lawyers. Jeez.
It's just ridiculous. Why is your child able to do that?
See, I like where Mike's bad knees. I like where he's at because I semi-agree that this is like CIA, you know, America-hating, globalist, whatever, divide and conquer. Get your eye off the ball that matters and have us all. And I think that, and I don't want to get into the details. This is so gross. That Bonnie Blue that's sleeping with 5 million dudes.
Oh, come on, dog.
I think that's a psyop too. I think it's probably really happening because allegedly there's footage of it. But I think it's like a psyop. Like the powers that be, like keep the peasants divided. Yeah. Keep our tax-paying cattle at each other's throats, and we could do anything we want and rob them blind.
So we're not at their throats.
You know? So
100%, man. That woman is wretched. That is so disgusting. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was some kind of psyop shit because after, you know, the events of 2020, the mask is off.
2020?
You know, just some things and coughing and stuff like that. But after that, I'm open to it. Let's talk about it. It's a complete possibility. They probably did, and they're pieces of shit.
We absolutely will not go into detail of what we said off the air last week after the show. But basically, the idea Jericho and I came to after we talked for like 15 minutes on the show last week is like, dude, is anything we were taught growing up true? Like anything?
Right?
Like, I would have laughed you out of the county if you told me the moon landing was fake 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I think it's fake. I'm telling you, I have no idea. I have no idea. Now, I know that the satellites are up there. The cell phones work. I know that calculus does tell you the orbits of planets, and it takes into account that the Earth is a globe, and you can predict where planets are yourself. So the Earth must be round because I can do the math with a pencil. And
yeah, because we can do it.
Right, because Mars will be there in a week, and it'll be there in 3 months. And if I can do that math, and it knows the Earth is a globe in the math, then obviously it must be. But you get my larger point. Like, I think all the news is obviously controlled by the world governments to keep the peasants in line, you know. So
yeah, everything that you've been taught that you think you know to be true, and the people that have been held up and championed and highlighted and celebrated, man.
Look at Mike's on the case. He's like Sherlock Holmes. The Shiloh chick had a picture of herself with a black boyfriend on her Instagram at one point. Just as more black people start opening up to Trump, this story shows up. I think it's like I'm with you 100% on that, dude. I think that's so plausible.
I'm all for it,
divide and conquer. The divide, keep them at each other's throats.
But who's gonna fall for that? Who's really getting angry and wanting to take sides or go to battle over what that chick said?
Look at how much money is donated to this, and that's just the people that actually donated. There's so many people that felt the same way, almost with like, I'm not donating, but I agree, you know, of that black fatigue, like, and it's working. And it's the oldest thing in the world, the divide and conquer. It's been going on for all humanity. So
people are just getting fucking sick of it, and I don't blame them. What I don't like is people like myself who look the same as them, who don't believe that shit, who are going to catch, you know, some shrapnel from that shit. Right. I mean, I'm so tired of this bullshit. If I hear the words black woman one more time, I'm gonna fucking puke.
I'm on my break right now.
Ugh. And then you see that statue they just put in Times Square.
Love it. As an artist, I love it. But that's I heard Jesse Kelly talking about, I think it was Jesse Kelly. And one of the big moves of the communists, how they psyop a culture, is they basically do stuff and tell you, what the fuck are you going to do about it? Right? And they bait you into it. Like he was talking about, like people going on the subway and they're playing their Bluetooth speaker, blaring it. So nobody can rest or have any peace on the subway. People acting crazy. They'll put the big ugly statue up. And they're doing it to like, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because they're trying to provoke you into clashing and going crazy. So, yeah, I think all that shit is insane. But here's something we can all agree on. Yojimbo is one of the finest movies I've ever seen in my life, and you better agree, Jericho.
I mean, yeah, man, the score was the supporting actor behind him being the main star. The score was awesome. The other characters, and having watched, I keep fucking mixing this up. Was it A Fistful of Dollars?
Right.
Okay, I recognize it from seeing that before, and then from seeing because Yojimbo begat Fistful of Dollars, begat Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, 1996. Right. So having seen those movies first, it made it a lot easier to follow this one. And even with the subtitles, it was still super easy to read them and keep your eyes on what they're doing. Great movie. And he was, again, I can't, this is what, the third movie in a row? Just the unflappable fucking nothing phases them attitude. That's what makes these guys so cool.
I think you're right on that. And I was talking to my son about it. I was telling him you need to watch Yojimbo and you need to watch Tombstone, because I told him, like, if you're writing like me, but if you just want to enjoy great stories, I think you can't find three better versions. There's some that probably as good, but in the movies I've seen, you can't find the unflappable, devil may care, ultra badass Han Solo, Indiana Jones, this guy in Sanjuro, right, from Yojimbo, and Doc Holliday. It's like it's the same guy. He's got that shit-eating grin. He's a badass when it fights, and you can't scare him. You can't stress him out. And it's the epitome of being masculine, because people accuse men of not having feelings. Oh, we have feelings. We have intense feelings. But being a man is controlling the feelings. It's a difference between I'm in a boat with no rudder, no paddle, no engine, no nothing, and the waves just do what they want with me, or I'm in the same storm and I'm controlling the ship. You know, you still have feelings, but you don't just react. You respond, right? The stimulus comes in, you think, you put a hierarchy of what's important, what's good, what's moral, and then you respond to whatever's happening in the world instead of just freaking out. I take a bunch of walks all the time for exercise with my wife, and it's lizard season out here. There's just these little lizards that live in our neighborhood. They're harmless. Some can get like 10 inches long, pretty big, and they'll dart out in front of you on the sidewalk because they see you and they get scared. And every time there's a lizard, she goes, and grabs my arm, and I just keep walking, because I have this chemical called testosterone, and I have very low cortisol, which is very healthy. And cortisol is the freak out, stress out chemical. And
you can't do that.
When you have your testosterone healthy, you don't freak out. A car backfires, I don't jump. You know, a balloon pops, I don't jump. But, you know, the woman's like, they jump, and it's... Or an 18-wheeler hits its brakes 2.5 miles ahead of you. You can't reach over and fucking hold her in the seat and scream, right? Right.
Can't do that.
Right. Yeah,
that's like one of those, how we talked before about, how do you know the same jokes that I know when we grew up hundreds of miles apart in completely different lives? Every man watching this has that. Every woman does that shit. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. You have to be seeing something new, because I know you're not freaking out over that truck that's been in front of us for 78 miles. I know that.
My wife about it so much that she stifles it mostly, but I can kind of like see out the corner of my eye. Sometimes she's like,
she wants to.
Gabe, they're stopping. Like, she'll have an outburst every 100th time. She used to do it a lot.
Next time you're driving long distance and you see that about to happen, just look at her and go ahead. It's okay.
Let it out. Let it out.
Let it out.
I want, like, from the belly. Give me a deep one. I want, put your fingernails in my forearm, point at the window, and scream, okay?
You're going to go, thank you, I needed that.
Just let that one out. Then you can take a little nap, and I'll get us there safely.
I'll wake you up when we get there.
Turns out, hey, you know what? I was thinking about it. I don't want to be crushed to death either at 80 miles an hour.
Wait, what?
Well, I had to ask myself. I said, hey, wait a minute. Today's a pretty nice day. We're headed to what, Disneyland or whatever up the freeway. Do you think I want to be crushed by another car 80 miles an hour? Nah, that sounds like a real bad day.
Not today.
Not going to
today,
do that.
damn it.
Not going to do that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Don't worry, Toots.
Yeah. I don't know what I
control.
could possibly be looking at besides the cars in front of us out the front.
Maybe you're looking up at the ceiling of your truck while you're
Maybe you're
driving.
looking at that bitch in the other car next to us with her tits out.
Yeah. That never happens. I've never been driving at some girl in a convertible red Ferrari, pulls a fucking tits out. It doesn't happen. Sorry, guys. That's only for Chevy Chase movies.
So anyway, Yojimbo, a great movie. I believe it's 1960. I could have that wrong.
61, I believe.
I've watched 7 of these Akira Kurosawa, Toshiro Mifune movies, and they are masterpieces. I think Seven Samurai might be the finest movie I've ever seen. This is outstanding. I watched this, and I watched Sanjuro, which is sort of the sequel to this. Rashomon is the one where the crime is told from the point of view of about 3-4 different people. The Hidden Fortress is the basis for Star Wars. These are just great movies. They're pure cinema. The visuals in these are stunning, but the best part of these movies, everything in these movies is done right. The music is outstanding. The score, as Jared said. The actor, Toshiro Mifune, he has that thing that Val Kilmer and Han Solo, Indiana Jones have, where he's just the alpha male, the badass. He laughs. He's so cool, calm, and collected. He's always laughing, but not like a Marvel movie where they laugh like an idiot. They laugh too much. You want to be him. Women want him. You want to be him. You know what I mean? He's like, fuck, that guy's cool, man. I love his body language, Jericho. He's always rubbing his chin, or he opens his cloak and he's itching his chest, and it's just it shows such ease and relaxation of his mind. You know, it's
and
so
he
badass.
could be in his mind. He could be freaking the fuck out, but you would never know it by his demeanor. And I love how he'd get done doing some cold shit and then just stuff his arms back in.
Just puts the sword back in the hilt and carries on. This movie starts, he's in the Japanese countryside, and he throws a stick in the air to decide, am I going left or right or east or west or whatever? And the way the stick lands and points, so, all right, head of that way. And he runs into a farmer, father and son, and the son's arguing with his dad. He's like, screw this. I'm not going to be a farmer like you and be a broke farmer like you.
I don't want to be poor.
I'm going to go be a bandit and all that. Because I guess there's these gambling rings and prostitution rings and all this stuff in the city nearby. And the dad is lamenting what we all do when we get old. Kids these days, nobody wants to work for nothing. They'll just want a quick buck. He's basically saying that to the wife here back in the house.
Because the son tells the son, you're going to live fast and die young if you take that life. And he's like, well, I'd rather wear the finest clothes and eat the finest food while I'm here than to be a poor old fucking farmer eating slop every day. So, and that's, as a father, you're like, you know what's right. You know what your son needs to do. And he's physically withholding him. Don't do that, son. Don't do that. But you got to fucking let him go. You got to let them go bang their head against that wall. And hopefully they're able to come back and say, you got a pack of ice for me, Pops?
Yeah, there's that famous story in the Bible, the prodigal son. The prodigal son, he has his great inheritance from his father, and his father gives him all the money, and then he leaves. And he's doing basically the drinking and the partying and the women and all this. And he becomes broke and a loser, and he ends up slopping pigs for a living and living with the pigs. And if you know anything about Jews and Arabs, the pig is untouchable. So that's the lowest you could be, is living in a pigsty and feeding pigs for a living. And he changes his ways. He comes home and the father tries to see him. It's a story in the Bible of redemption, but that's what this son is doing. He's breaking his father and mother's heart and running off to go be a hooligan. Jose Taco points out that Toho, the famous Japanese film studio, did sue the people that made Fistful of Dollars because it's a copy one for one of this movie.
Yeah, it's beat for beat Yojimbo. Yeah. But what is it inside of us as young men? And maybe young ladies experience this as well. Maybe it's just a youth thing. But as a young man, your father telling you, look, man, I've been where you're going. I've been down the road that you're going. I'm about 50 miles ahead of you. I'm going to tell you every pitfall and pothole and thing you need to look out for. But what's in us as young people to say, fuck that. even though my whole life you've done nothing but sacrifice for me and give me your best and want the best for me and the best advice and the best possible life. You love me, you encourage me, you're there for me. Every time I look on the sidelines or up in the stands or out in the crowd, you're right there. What makes them say, but you haven't earned the credibility for me to listen to you in this moment, so I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do.
Here's well, I'll tell you, I know this for a fact. This is how learning works. It's not words, it's deeds. You don't learn from hearing, you learn from doing, and you only learn from doing. You think you're learning when you read a book and you watch a show about science. You could watch a show on repairing a classic Corvette engine and you can learn everything about every part. Go get the same tools and try and do it. You won't, you'll make mistakes, you'll forget. You learn from doing. So you can hear your dad tell you, don't date crazy redheads. I don't care how beautiful her feet are, Jericho. I don't care if she has the most pristine feet on earth with the French manicured toenails. She's going to break your heart. She's going to light your car on fire. She's going to stab you and rob you blind. You're going to like, yeah, that's what he says, but I'm me. I'm different. I'll do this. I'll see it coming, blah, blah, blah. Human beings, we learn the hard way. We learn from doing. We do not learn from hearing, really. We don't really learn from reading. We think we do. It feels like we do. But you don't know something in the real sense until you do it. And that's why every generation, like my dad said, don't do this. And then I do it and like, And then it's like, I have
told you.
Like, right. And then it's like, kind of like, who could have seen this coming, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have kids and you tell them, don't do this. And then they do it like, you were right. And that's just, and forever it will be. This is the human condition.
Yeah. You know? Well, I've thought about this before. Like, it's almost, of course I would never do this, but it's almost like, what's the fucking point? My parents told them not to do that shit. Right. They did it. My parents told me not to do that shit. I did it. I'm telling my kids not to do that shit. And they're not doing it. I believe that through their childhood, we're throwing stuff at the wall that is their life. And when they leave, some of that shit's going to stick.
Right.
Your mom telling you 1,500 times to pick up your clothes off the floor, clean up after yourself. My dad, do it right the first time. Do it right the first time. Do it right the first time. I don't know how many fucking thousands of times I heard that. But now I do shit right the first time.
There you go.
I pick up after myself. You know,
I mean, it's a mixed bag. Some of it works on us just from hearing it, and some of it doesn't. The drug thing, that worked on me. I know a lot of people tried drugs, experimented drugs. Some people still do drugs after years of trying them. But there were just a very concise, very direct message in my family. This is the behavior of wild animals, and we don't do this. You got me? Unacceptable 1,000%. It's like it's acceptable in my house as being a cannibal was. Like it was you couldn't imagine it. You're not going to try it. You're not experimenting. And that, for whatever reason, worked on me. I looked down my nose at people, frankly, that did that growing up, you know. So, and I still have kind of that attitude to this day about weed, dude. I kind of roll my eyes at people like that. Okay. Fucking zap all your brain cells, dude. It's like when I think of weed, I instantly think of like Xbox and Mountain Dew and, you know, like just Cheetos and not a lot going on. You know, not a lot of success is happening. That's what I think of when I think of weed. Could be wrong.
But you know? That the same could be said for people who drink alcohol. Like you could think, when you think of someone who drinks alcohol, you're a sloppy, drunk, DUI, just, you know, like a wino. Right. But there's got to be.
But I didn't drink most of my life. I drank like in my 30s, but I haven't had a drink in almost 8 years. You know, it wasn't a part of my life. And then like in my late 20s, whatever, I had a beer after work one time. And then it just became a part of being in college and going to the bars. And then in 2017, it's like, nah, this ain't good for me, man. This is bad. It's like you get stressed out and then you want to have a drink. And like, where's that fucking leading, dude? What's going to happen eventually? You're not going to be able to have a good time or relax without it. Then where are you?
Uh-oh.
So
drinking by yourself.
I thought about it and I just never had a drink again. Like, no, this ain't me. And one of the great things is I never liked it. I always despised the taste of alcohol. You know,
it doesn't taste good.
I don't believe anyone that says, "Oh, this scotch, this tequila."
Nobody's ever drank hard liquor and said,
"This tastes like what I think."
Never.
This tastes like some automotive fluid to give me more horsepower or something, dude. That's what I imagine that would taste like if I drank it.
Just like in this movie, in A Fistful of Dollars, in Last Man Standing, everybody's drinking,
Right.
taking shots. And in this movie, being in feudal Japan, sake. I don't know how many times the word sake came up in the closed caption. I mean,
Right.
give me some sake. Sake over here. Sake all around. Give me some sake. These dudes
Sake to me?
were shit-faced. And I remember seeing somewhere on the History Channel or something that these famous gun battles, you know, OK Corral and all this stuff, and High Noon, Meet Me at the Street. He said a lot of these guys, you know, of course the movies, they make it Hollywood and they romanticize it, make it look cool. Like it wasn't these dead shot fucking draw, you know, and boom, hit the guy. He said a lot of the times guys would miss because they were so drunk. You've been in the bar all day taking shots of what I'm sure is some super high-powered shit back then. Well, probably more closer to Everclear.
In the movie Tombstone, they did say that those guys are hungover, right? The Glanton gang or the Clanton gang or whatever the hell. They said those guys are hungover, like we'll get them then or whatever, you know. So
imagine back then.
Made me thirsty watching a Western. It's the scorching sun, the American Southwest, the desert. The cowboy comes in off his horse covered in sweat and dust.
Yeah.
And he orders whiskey.
Warm.
That is not going to hydrate you or quench your thirst. Don't you want cold water?
Warm whiskey.
You know, I'll have a warm beer.
Hey, give me that bottle of whiskey that's been sitting on the windowsill.
And by the way, not only will it not quench you, it will in fact dehydrate you. Alcohol dehydrates you severely.
I bet they had some violent hangovers back then. But that reminds me of a story. When I was in the Navy, every month? I think it was you had to do PT, physical training. You had to meet your qualifications based on your age. That determined how fast you'd have to run the mile and a half, how many push-ups, sit-ups you had to do, all that kind of shit. So I remember we're in the Persian Gulf. I believe we were in a place called Jebel Ali. If I could find that on a map.
Prince Ali, Ali.
I remember, the guy on the carpet. Yeah, I remember him. So we're in the Persian Gulf. It's wintertime here, so it's summertime there. You know, we pull into a port and they have this big huge open sand areas. It's like in this industrial area, but imagine a gigantic tennis court with a little bit of dirt on it. So it's this big square area. You run there and run back. That's a mile and a half. Look in the distance. You see the heat waves and all that shit. It's like 100 degrees. It's hot as shit outside. So we're running, do the mile and a half. You finally make it across the finish line. Of course, you're sweating. Got your arms above your head. You know, you just ran a mile and a half. I shit you not.
In like 110-degree weather or something.
Oh, yeah. It's hot as shit. People from San Diego would die in this kind of heat. So the guy, and he's got to be, you know, I'm 18 at the time, so anybody over 20 looks like they're 100 to you. But this guy was for sure 35 years old, maybe between 35 and 40. He comes across the finish line, and he doesn't wait a few minutes to get his breath back. He comes across the finish line, walks over to where we are, kind of on the side out of the way, reaches in his sock and pulls out a pack of Marlboro Red cigarettes, puts one in his mouth and fucking lights it. And I'm talking, he's still like panting, and this dude is puffing on a cigarette. I'm like, that's not what your body wants and needs right now. It needs oxygen. This dude fucking smoked a cigarette, panting for air.
Wow.
So I get it, man. I understand the Cowboys, but yeah, that kind of heat, that's certainly, I'd be dunking my head in the trough with the fucking horses, but no, they said, man, give me some of that warm, hard liquor, please.
Yeah, give me that room temperature whiskey. Oof.
Yeah, and make sure you serve it in a glass that was washed in water that I can't see through. Right. And then hook me up with one of those whoas upstairs who's been through, I don't know, 15, 20 guys today.
She may have bathed today, Jericho. You could be in for some luck. She bathes twice a week. If you time
Fingers
it right,
crossed. Let me see your toes.
Just right, you could get there.
Let me see your toes.
So and this is why we appreciate our American ancestors here, because man, did they go through it to build this place.
Thanks, guys. And this you mentioned earlier how the father is like, kids, they don't want to work for anything. This is in like 1550, and they were still saying that shit back then.
Learning about Julius Caesar, well over like 1,000 years ago or whatever, and And the adults then were talking about Julius and his buddies. They were like aristocratic children, like when he was like a young man before he became the big dog. He was like a teenager or whatever. And they're like, these kids are so respectful. They don't stand up when adults enter the room. And look at the way they wear their togas. Apparently, like Julius Caesar and all that, they would like wear it off the shoulder and wear it differently, that big toga thing that they were supposed to wear. And it's like, you know, it's like kids sagging their pants or whatever. So as I said before, this is as it ever was. This is the human condition. This is, you know, kids today. I was telling my son that about music because I turned my kids on to the Beach Boys in the last month. I realized that is my favorite band and my favorite song of all time. The greatest song ever written is Don't Worry, Baby. The song just wants me to bring me to my knees, the beauty of that song. And I was talking to my son about it. And he's like, wow, this is really good music. I said, don't you see why I hate all that rap and that filth and all? It's like, it's not even music. This fucking Jay-Z could never do what Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys did. Never he could do that. And I said, this will happen to you too, though, son. You'll have kids.
Oh, yeah.
In your 40s, and you'll hear the new music, and it won't make any sense to you.
It'll be fingers on the chalkboard. It's not supposed to make sense. I finally
accepted if it did make sense, it would mean I was very like immature or something, you know.
Some music or new music, I should say, is made for young ears.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're not going to always like, you shouldn't. It's not for you anymore.
Right.
You know, you have your music to listen to. You might have an artist that you like that keeps coming out with new stuff, but hopefully they're not going to try to sound young and new and hip and shit like that. But yeah, that's a trip how this is, 500 years ago. And they're like, these damn kids, they don't appreciate shit.
These damn kids, they don't appreciate nothing.
Soft. Yeah, this is 15 something. Life was hard back then. Right. But kids are always going to find, and rap is not the new, there's never been filthy music before this.
Right.
Every
there's
generation.
Always been that version. There's always a version of it.
Yeah, there's something dirty, underground, taboo, off limits. Don't you listen to that. And that's the first thing.
I heard one from the 30s that was filthy.
Right? Bad.
I mean, it said terms for oral things that I'd never even considered. And this is like from the 30s. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. But I think we expect
some of our grandparents were rocking out.
Yeah. And you gave me shit that I was listening for what I'm listening to. But I think the farther we go back, we expect things to have been different. We expect. You can't
picture your grandma and grandpa doing anything bad, right?
Yeah, because you only know them as, would you like $5? Not fucking bumping and grinding and shit.
But imagine the kids in the future. Their moms and dads are like now twerking on TikTok and Instagram, and that's going to be there 30, 40 years from now when it's grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandma's out there with everything hanging out, jiggling it everywhere. And it's grandma now.
Yeah, grandma's like, I've had like 5 abortions. Fuck yeah. Woo! Grandma. What?
Right. So, yeah, I like the way it was before. Like, I don't want to know anything bad about my grandparents. I don't. I understand they're human. All men have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. I get it. I don't need to see it. I don't need to know about it. Okay?
Yeah, some things just need to be stories, and it's always funny when your parents, like your grandparents are in the same room or something, your mom's giving you shit, and they're like, well, you used to do the same thing? Mom, you used to what? You snuck out? Like, that should be a surprise to you. You should have footage of it.
My Aunt Martha, rest in peace, she died 2 years ago. She's my mom's sister. She was like 70 something when she passed away. But back in the 60s, when she was a high schooler, she had a Jaguar because my grandpa was doing really good with the tortillas and the Mexican restaurant. And she liked to drive it too fast. And she and my mom's 6 years younger. So my mom's probably 10 or 11. My aunt is probably, 16, 17. They drive from Greeley to Denver, which is like 80 miles to go to the big department store. So you got to imagine the 60s, there's no department stores where they're living in Greeley, right? It's a small town. And they drive an hour south to go to the department store. And my aunt, cop starts following her for speeding. And this is going to be like the 5th time or the 10th time. And my grandpa told her, you get one more speeding ticket? Fun till daddy takes the T-bird away. That's what this is going to be. My aunt ran from the cops in her Jaguar through cornfields and escaped and got home.
Grandma.
Can you imagine, dude?
Oh, your aunt. That's
my aunt.
But that's the thing.
My aunt, who's like 17, my mom's like 10 in the car, driving.
Thelma and Louise, dude.
Ditching the cops.
Throw some nails out the back, blow out their tires.
Oh my God,
crazy!
that's insane.
It is, but
these people that they're prim and proper and they're old, respectful people. And you find out it's a wild shit back in the day.
Yeah, you're just like me. My mom, a few years back, I'm at her house, and we got the box of pictures, and it's always cool to see some you've never seen before, some you haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
So I'm looking through the pictures, and I find a picture of this beautiful young girl laying on a bar, like on her side, like the cover of the Thriller album.
Right.
But she has an afro and like this top, and it's tied in a knot, and like showing her entire midriff. And she has these tight bell bottoms on, and I did a double take. I was like, "Mom, is this you?" She's like, "Oh yeah." And she had she was in the army at the time. She just she had a 6-pack, the whole 9. And I'm like, "Mom, what the fuck is all that?" Of course, I didn't say that. Yeah, of course I didn't say that. But I'm like, "What the fuck, Mom? What's all this skin?" I was like, "What's with all this skin, Mom?" She starts laughing. She's like, "I wasn't always a mom." I was like, "Yeah, you were. To me, you were born a mom. You were born with me in your stomach.
You were born.
You had
48 years old as my mother.
You had no youth. You had no fun. You had no wild experiences. Like, I was just flabbergasted that my mom was this young little, 19-year-old woman. And she's like, "Oh, I've been skydiving too." Mom, no more surprises for the day. You did what? Yeah, probably trying to impress some young soldier. It's like, "Mom, we're done talking today. I can't take it."
Look up the Ohio Players albums. Fire and Honey are damn near
yeah. Roller coaster, I'm live. Say what? Dude, that's all shit. That's the Ohio Players.
You can just feel the cocaine in that music, dude. It's just growing.
Yeah, if you smell that record, you will get high.
Yeah. So anyway, this young man who's telling his dad, "I'm gonna go be a bandit in town, in the crime town. I ain't gonna be no farmer like you, Dad." And so then Yojimbo, who is the star of this movie, he's like, "I'm gonna go check out Crime Town. Sounds like a nice place."
Sounds like a place I can really put down some roots.
Hold on. Heather wants to change her name to Karen. She says, "When there's 100 underage teenagers partying in the desert, and the cops show up, you run." Oh, I thought she was going to say she calls the cops. I thought she was going to be the narc.
One of the ones getting called the cops.
Never mind. I apologize and retract my statement of Karen-ness for you.
No,
I got ahead of myself and thought you were going to say you were the narc.
I've been in the New Mexico desert, and there was a party, and the cops came. Everybody just spread out and ran into the desert, was hide behind tumbleweeds and shit. And you're just sitting there watching them flash a light on kids. "Hey, get up, come with me," and hope that they stop before they get to you.
Heather says she's a runner.
Been there.
She's run from the cops.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit face.
Not in real life, YouTube. On Grand Theft Auto, the video game on the PlayStation 5. That's where she ran.
So much dumb shit as a youth. Oh my!
You think of, like, stuff we probably shouldn't say online, but some of the stuff is, I know, for young men, maybe not as much for women, the physical violence and the danger. But you think, like, I'm lucky I'm alive. Some of the shit that you did when you were 17, 18, 19, like. Yeah, wow, I'm here in one piece. Thank you, God.
For sure. I remember being at a party and some guy pulled up after we did and he wouldn't move his truck. And I had a buddy of mine named Jesse. And Jesse, he could fight very well. And he was probably 6 foot, 285 pounds.
Oof.
Thick, but a really nice dude. Yeah, thick as peanut butter, but cool dude, right? And the guy goes, "Hey man, real nice. Hey man, can you move your truck so we can get out?" The guy goes, "Fuck you, I'm not moving." So he gets out of the truck, out of his car, and he walks over, and the guy is getting out. Like, rule number 1, guys, if you talk shit to a man and he's walking toward you, get out of the vehicle or stay in the vehicle. Don't be halfway in and out by the time he gets to your door. So the guy's halfway out, he grabs him, picks him up, and slams him in the bed of his own truck. And the guy fucking sits up and he's like, I'll move it, man. My bad."
Dang.
That's what I fucking thought. It was so funny. He just slammed it. If you get slammed in the bed of your own truck, that's a certain level. Now, you got to at least give 2 of your man cards back.
Let's add insult to injury. This gentleman who was picked up and Hulkamania slammed into his own truck.
Yes.
Was his girlfriend with him, and how long until she deserted him at that party? Was she in the passenger seat?
I think he was with some buddies, fortunately. Okay. But what made it extra funny was that
nice
the
buddies,
dude
they didn't even stick up for him. Nice fucking buddies.
Oh, dude, it happened so fast. And if they would have tried No, they didn't want none. They didn't
They
want
would have
none.
got some too, huh?
They would have got. He would have fucked them all up before we even got over there. So what made it extra funny was the guy had like a bunch of shit in the back of his truck, just like tools and debris. So he fucking slammed him on like his tools and maybe a wakeboard or some shit back there. When his ass popped up, he had a new attitude. And
I got a new attitude.
He said, "You know what?
Feeling
I was
good
tripping. Let me get this out." Yeah, he was singing Patti LaBelle when his ass stood up because he moved that truck quick, fast, and in a hurry. That was.
Did he have a new point of view?
Did. He said he's feeling good and his worries are few.
Did he know where he was going and he knew what to do?
You get slammed on your own junk in the back of your truck, dude. You need to rethink. He should have went home. You don't need to party tonight. How do you party after that? It's time to go home.
No, not good. So anyway, we're 4 frames into this one here.
Maybe 3.
He heads to murder, crime, gamble, prostitution town to see what's going on.
I never want to go there as a young
Can you imagine if this was made today? He'd be holding his phone. Yo, what up? I'm in murder, prostitution town, guys. Coming to you live on YouTube.
Yeah, come check it out. 972 Hooker Street. Yeah. Oh my God.
And like in all great westerns, he's walking down the main thoroughfare in the middle of the city, and people are peeping out their windows because everyone's afraid to come out because the gangsters rule this town. And there's 2 big gangs. I don't remember the name.
Yes.
One gang on one end of town and one gang on, and they can see each other. They're just like, 5 or 10 buildings away from each other, just like the Clint Eastwood movie, A Fistful of Dollars. Again, that is a 1-for-1 copy of this movie. So much so that there was legal judgment against that movie. That movie was a absolute theft of this movie.
Yep. And same with Last Man Standing.
Right.
Frame for frame copy.
Right.
Yeah, and the I think I mentioned this last week, or maybe I did, but I did mention it. This doesn't do favors for the Japanese language in the romance department. Everything is very guttural, very harsh.
Nani?
Yeah, like everything. There's nothing like I get. Not even the women. There's a couple women in this movie, and not even they're like everything's just. Dude, are you like? Is there anything happy around here? Does anybody say anything with a smile on their face? Everything.
I love you so much.
You mean everything to me. Fuck. Look at these guys, all their faces.
It's delicious. I love it.
You're the love of my life. Will you marry me or what? Yeah, man, this shit was everything was like that. It was so funny, except for Yojimbo. His shit was like, but he was like,
right, and that's that cool customer.
Very,
that
very chill.
That Indiana Jones, the cool cat,
But there's 10 of them. Like he didn't give a fuck. Right. Even with the old man, because again, I can't remember who it was. Oh yeah, it was the old man in Fistful of Dollars, and then it wasn't an old man in Last Man Standing, but it was kind of like a little quisling. Like he ran the bar, they like slap him around and shit. So he wanted the bad guys dead just as much as Bruce Willis's character. And earlier you said that Clint Eastwood had that really cool, Clint Eastwood, Doc Holliday, the really cool, no problem. But I will throw Bruce Willis's name in that too. Bruce Willis has imagine the scene you've seen 1,000 times with Bruce Willis, insurmountable odds. He makes some smart comment, right? Lights his cigarette, and no big deal. Bruce Willis. He definitely had that too. He definitely had the, what do you guys want to do kind of attitude. And nobody could smoke a cigarette like Bruce Willis.
Right. As silly as it is, the 80s and 90s action one-liner, that's what it's trying to convey from a writing standpoint. The point of the one-liner is it's funny. That's the first point. The second point is look how cool Arnold is. He almost got killed, almost got his head blown off, killed 35 guys, and he just laughs about it. He just laughs about it. And it's showing you what a cool, calm, collected guy is, which is, again, the pinnacle of masculinity. It's just, hey, man, don't lose your shit. Maintain, bro. You're going to be fine, So anyway, he's walking down the street. Everyone's peeping out because it's always death and violence. All these 2 gangs always fight each other. And to just show how horrible it is, a dog comes running by with a human hand in its mouth.
Uh-oh.
So
where'd you get that, boy?
Kind of showing you what kind of town this is.
Where'd you get that, boy? Actually, this is a real possibility.
You look like you could use a hand.
Oh, what the fuck? Somebody shoot that damn dog. This could be a real connection, but that's sketch comedy show in living color. There was a reoccurring skit that they would do on there called Lassie 2000. And instead of it being a border collie that was super nice, it was a pit bull. And one of the episodes, the pit bull brings a hand in its mouth and it has the male in the hand. What's that, boy? Oh, the male's here? Thanks, buddy. You know, they totally, you know, gloss over and don't realize the hand in his mouth. But there's a real possibility that they got that from this movie, because that's the scene. Lassie comes in with the mailman's hand in its mouth. So that's probably where that came from.
Yeah,
but that's a fucked up town right there.
I got a gross hand story from yesterday. So I bought a countertop ice maker on Amazon. One of the best things I've ever bought. You can always have fresh ice, you know, and it's got a little scoop. You put a little water in. It's always making these really nice, crunchy little ice cubes. And Big Baby loves it. Big Baby say, Ivy eat ice? She likes to just eat ice. So I give her like 3 or 4 little ice cubes in a cup and she wanders around eating ice. I don't know. She likes it.
Wait, so you're saying she gets what she wants?
Yeah, this is true. So yeah, she's 2.5. She gets whatever she wants. She does run the house. So I'm playing with her in the living room, and she's she's digging for California gold.
Don't do it, girl.
Fuck off! And I see her like pull her finger out, and then she's like doing the little thing like this.
You're too cute for that.
I'm like 10 minutes later, she's like, Bubba, try ice. I'm Bubba. She gives me ice and I eat it, and then I eat it, and then I go, oh God, that was the hand she was picking her.
Yeah, dude, that was ice and snot.
So I didn't taste anything or feel anything. So I think
it was on there.
But yeah, after I ate the ice cube, I did realize that was the booger finger. That was it.
That was the one. I recognize that finger. That's the booger finger.
So
you know what? If they sprayed, what's that like glow in the dark, or you can't see it with the naked eye, but if you run
luminol.
If she had luminol in her nose and they ran a black light over it, there would be some luminol on that ice, and
the ice cube, and then on my tongue and mouth, and
Oh yeah. But hey, just think of it as it made your immune system stronger.
No, I'm good. I feel great. So.
Feeling good.
Yeah, feeling great. Now I can't explain to you why I ate the second ice cube right after. No, just kidding.
Yeah, come on. You no more sympathy after that, man. That's fucking gross. But kids, they're some of the more gross individuals on the planet. They are filthy.
Yeah, little kids will offer you snacks or whatever they're working on, and
my son does that.
Their hands are like a little clammy. They're not wet, but they're a little clammy. You don't know what it is, and their hands are like a little too warm. Like, where was this hand? What were you doing?
And they're like, I don't know. And they like their hand smells like metal. Like they've been holding change in their hand.
Their hand smells.
It's like it's sweet metal. If that makes it's sweet metal. That's what their hands smell like.
Yeah, it's cagey accepting food from small children.
It's a lot of things. You're really taking a gamble.
You don't want to hurt their feelings. You can do the fake out, which is not very honest. You can take and go and just wave it by your mouth. But
my son's 9. He's too old for that.
You cannot do it to a 9-year-old.
What's behind your ear? Come on, Dad. But no, he's to the age where I can tell him, no, thank you. He's like, never take anything when I offer it to you. I don't tell him why, but I just say, no, I'm good. But yeah, dude, you're not gonna drink a quarter of that drink and then offer it to me.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
you're my boy. You're my boy, Blue. But we're not doing that.
We don't need to share that much. We got plenty. We got extra,
There's some things in the imagination.
Where do you come down on sharing with your wife at a restaurant? I will share because I'm not an asshole, but I will say if you want some, I will just order another one for you because I want all of this one. Big, powerful. I got to feed this powerful muscle machine. I want to eat all of this food. I will order you I'll order you 3 more if you want them. Let me eat this one.
I share under protest.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'll share with you. You're my wife, but we both had the same opportunity to order shit.
Right.
And you looked at the menu longer than anybody else.
And then I know your wife does this. I've never met her, but I know she does this because all wives do this. What are you getting? They want to make sure you're getting something different because they want what they want, but they also want to have some of what you're getting. And it's that FOMO thing. They want a little of everything.
But we're not wired like that. I don't give a fuck what you're going to order. I hope you order what you want.
Right.
And I hope it's amazing. But I don't give a shit.
But what she wants
what you order
is contingent on what you're ordering, because I was going to order that too. But if you're going to order that, then I'm going to order this.
If this were a bus, I would have already pulled the cord to fucking ding to let me off. Women are just.
I forgot where
they're women.
I forgot where it was, but on the menu it said girlfriend fries and girlfriend chicken strips, and it was literally one extra chicken strip or a little bit of fries, just like here. That's just
to
like
keep her away, keep her off your
don't eat off
plate.
my plate. I'm hungry. Okay, I lift weights. I'm tall.
Yeah.
I'm big. Please, I want to feed you. I will buy you as much as you want of your own. Let me eat mine, please.
Like, why does it take us from zero to murderous when they do that? Like in the blink of an eye. Why the fuck do you? I mean, we don't say it like that because we're not assholes.
Right.
Why the fuck do you want my food? You had a chance. That's what you picked. Well, lesson learned. Next time we come here, order what I ordered.
You've been married. You've been fooling with women and married long enough to know the answers to the question. Why do you want some of mine? You just answered it.
But I'm venting.
It's yours because they want to see a little bit of sacrifice. I guarantee you, the fries from your plate are going to taste better than her own order of fries because it's.
But they came from the same basket of fries.
No, the ones on your plate are actually more delicious than her own. You could get her a 5-gallon bucket of fries, and 2 off of your plate is better for her. It's what we go through to be married. It's what you got to go through to be married, man.
If it makes me so mad that if we're in the restaurant and she did that, and then they brought a midget to the table for me to throw, I would fucking toss that midget. I'd be so fucking angry.
What did the midget do?
By the ankles, though. He's going for a ride.
All right.
Right? Tell my wife that. I'm going to screenshot this and show it to my. See that?
Never mess with
I'm not the only one. The fuck?
It's like, yeah, baby, I'll buy you every fry they have back in the kitchen. Just let me eat my fries.
All your fries, make them for this lady right here. Gladly. But I do that to my son, but it's just to piss him off. We go to In-N-Out. As soon as the fries get there, I'll grab just like 2. I don't even like it. I
do that to my kids. They would get like the nuggets or whatever. I was like, okay, you got to pay taxes, and I'd eat like one of their chicken nuggets or something.
Their mouth is agape. They are blown away that you had the nerve to eat some of their food.
Good, and it's not the life lesson. It's not the lesson you think. It's not. Oh, there's taxes. Life ain't fair sometimes. The life lesson is I'm bigger than you, and I can bully you. That's the life lesson.
My shit. I pay for everything. I'm there with my son. I find myself giving him a lot of. Well, life, life is like that. Life's not fair. Like we're doing a lot of that right now.
Yeah. Heather says sharing is gross. I don't even eat out of the same chip bag, which I think is unreasonable. You can eat out of the same chip bag.
Do you love him?
Or milk carton as my husband. My wife and my son, they're like so grossed out on the concept of sharing milk.
But who's drinking out of the carton? You pour it into a glass, right?
I don't know. If
are we talking like cartons?
It's like, let's say we had 1 cup of milk on the table for whatever reason. We're sharing like a brownie or something. It's like, oh, the milk is good with the brownie. It's like, I'll serve my own cup of milk. Like if you're,
we're not doing that. We ain't doing that. But if there's a gallon of milk in the fridge, we can both pour from that gallon.
Yeah.
But unless somebody's, drinking from the fridge,
whatever. I'm not uptight about it.
No, but sharing a drink, we'll just
look at
we'll
this.
Both get our own.
He drinks out of the carton. So I have my.
Oh, well, if it's like Heather, that.
I got bad news for you, and I'm about to blow your mind. He drinks out of your carton too, and he does.
Oh, when you're gone, you'd be killing your carton.
You tell him how gross it is. He waits for you to not be around, and he is tonguing that thing
all over the rim
on that carton of yours. And
babe, why don't you have a glass of milk with that?
You look thirsty. Why don't you have some milk with those cookies?
Hey, but if he's handling his business, Heather, then damn it, he can drink out of that carton. He's
blowing bubbles in your gallon of milk.
Yeah,
he's all in there like middle school.
He's gargling and then spitting it back in there. You make with your kid, you make the milk bubbles all come out of your mouth. And he's fucking
absolute pig.
Right back in there. Be like, damn, this 2% milk is thick. I don't know. Must be a new farm.
I'm pretty sure drinking out of the carton got your picture on it back in the day. Oh boy.
They used to do that. You turn the milk carton around and there'd be a little missing kid on it.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing Saturday morning breakfast down.
Missing. And they got the kid on the milk there. That's a real thing of the 80s. Yeah. I don't know if that went back in the 70s, but I know as a kid in the 80s, there were missing children on the milk carton. That's terrible.
The milk cartons. Fuck.
Yeah. So anyway, gangsters come out of some of the buildings and they're harassing him. You know, he's a Ronin, right? That's a masterless samurai. Is that what a Ronin is? I don't remember.
Like a rogue.
Yeah. And they're
samurai.
gonna fuck with him, and they're teasing him, they're making fun of him,
and they're bragging.
Right. And he dispatches a few of them in short order.
Real quick.
There's a flash of steel. Fwing, and they dead. A couple of them just dead. And just like Star Wars, doesn't he chop one of the arms off and one of the arms ends up on the ground?
Yeah.
Right?
Now because it's this one and then
Sanjuro.
But then he tells the guy, he's like, basically, hey, you guys want a bodyguard? All right, here, let me show you how good I am. Is that this scene right here where he walks down there and fucks him up?
No, I think right here he's just getting fucked with, and he'll talk with them later. After he gets fucked with these guys and kills like two of them, then he goes to the bar and he talks to the bar owner, and the bar owner's like, this town, nobody's drinking, nobody's buying, because everyone's afraid of these stupid gangs. So he gets the lay of the land from the bartender. None of the says a samurai with no feudal lord. Yeah, that's what a Ronin is, I believe. So that's
he's just roaming around, not loyal to anyone, loyal to his blade, which he's pretty good with.
Right.
Yeah, that's the angry. Like, this is the angry, get off my lawn, everything, that Jeff Dunham puppet of that old man with that scowl on his face. Everything's bad, everything's war, everything is just bad. This is a pissed off old man.
It was like, why do you stay here then? Leave. You obviously hate
He loves the misery. He loves to be angry. He loves to be a crotchety old fucker.
Right. Oh, and then there's the fat guy on the right with the bald head there that you can kind of see. He's with like a real buck
teeth. He's like,
he's buck tooth. He's like missing some teeth. There's some really good. He's really fucking weird looking, and he has like
he was fucked up.
He has a crazy unibrow, but he's like a badass. He's like a really good swordsman, and he's one of the big enforcers for one of the two gangs. And they're going around fucking with people, doing this and that. And Yojimbo, he's looking out the window. You know, he's looking at this, and the old man's telling him all the shit going on. And they're getting the lay of the land of what the hell is going on here. You know, so now he's going to make his way, our hero, he's going to make his way to one of the gangsters' hideouts. It's not really a hideout. It's like this stuff just goes on.
Like their hotel.
Right. Because you have to remember, like, the government is hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Like, anyone that can, and there's no cops, there's no sheriff, there's no, like, guy like that. So it's basically, these gangsters, they just kind of rule these backwaters because there's nobody there to enforce anything. Every once in a while, administrators and soldiers can come by from the central Edo government they talk about, but it doesn't seem to happen enough to keep these gangsters in line at all.
And you can know, you'll know. They could have, guys out there watching and shit, keeping, lookouts and stuff that'll send message like, here they come. It's not like they could fucking sneak up on you. There's like one road in and one road out. So if the authorities were coming, which that happens in this movie, they know. And you can see right there, you got the bad guys behind him right there. The next picture you'll see there's fucking 10, 15 guys. He hasn't even taken his arms out of his fucking shirt yet. Like, you'd think you'd be ready to rock and roll. You'd at least have your hand on your sword, if not have it out already. And his fucking arms are still inside there. That's how badass he knows he is and how not scared he is of these fucking peons that are about to get sliced up, something awful.
Right. So what it boils down to, I jumped on Wikipedia to get the details of what's going on here. That the guy that owns the little the bar, the inn, the whatever, he basically tells them what's going on is there's two gangs, and they're fighting over who's going to control the gambling, because they control prostitution and other things and stuff like that. And one guy has the mayor in his pocket. So he's controlling the gambling now, and the other guy's trying to get a hold of the gambling, and he's got the big sake, the alcohol producing guy, in his pocket. So they go to war back and forth. This inn owner, this bar owner, he tells Yojimbo, get out of here, it's too dangerous. And Yojimbo's like, nah, this is like an opportunity to me, and it'd be better if both sides were dead. So he sizes up the situation, and no one cares about ending this violence, is what he determines. So he says he's going to stay, and he would be he's going to go offer his services to which one does he offer it to?
Yushirota.
It's Saibe, and Saibe is the one that I think runs the prostitution, not the gambling.
Yeah, Saibe, and then Yushi. What's the other guy's name?
Let me look what it says here. It says Yushitora.
Yushitora. That's what it is. Yeah.
Right.
Yushitora.
Right. Oh, Remdog knows this movie back and forth. He was telling me about it on Twitter today. Yeah, I've only seen the movie once, and I was just blown away how good it is. But I did watch it 2-3 weeks ago, so I'm a little fuzzy on some of the details. But I've seen, A Fistful of Dollars quite a few times, I think. So, I've got that down, the basic plot. So he's gonna go to the pimp and say, "Hey, it's dangerous. The other gang, they're killing your guys. You're killing their guys. I'll be your bodyguard." You know what I mean? You saw how badass I was when I handled those guys in the middle of the street. So they're going to work on a deal there. So what he's going to do is the same thing Clint Eastwood did. He's going to go back and forth between both gangs. Pay me, I'll defend you. No, you pay me, I'll defend you. You pay, and that's kind of the comedy of it a little bit. But it shows you how badass he is and how he doesn't seem to worry. He just kind of does what he wants. You know what I mean? Let's see. So what happens is he meets with Saibe, and they work. Oh, he fights the guys in the street, right? And so then he's going to go to Saibe, and he's going to tell him, "I want to be your bodyguard guy." And when he becomes the bodyguard, they're going to pay him. But then he secretly overhears the wife talking about, instead of paying him, we'll have him kill our enemies, and then we'll just kill him.
We'll whack his ass.
Well, we're not going to have to pay him shit. You know what I mean?
Like, could she be more stupid though?
Right.
Like, why are you talking so fucking loud? Don't you know that these walls are made out of bamboo and paper, you idiot? So, and I like to believe that even if he didn't hear that, he had to expect that. Like, we're talking about two criminal organizations. I'm sure he kept in the back of his mind that I can't trust either one of these fools, and they're both probably going to want to kill me. So she just made it even easier.
Well, they didn't get there by being fair, honest, and nonviolent.
Usually not. Not in the criminal world. But man, he found, and good thing he found out early too. So he knows what's up. And now you're really going to pay. He's telling the hoes to be quiet. Hoes. These
are the hookers that, so this one's a brothel, and the other one is controlling a lot of the alcohol and the gambling. So, and you know what character I didn't see again, and maybe he's in it and I missed it, but the son from the beginning of the movie who tells his dad, "I'm not going to be a farmer like you. I'm out of here."
All right, so we see him later in the movie.
Do we see him?
Isn't that him when he's back and he's like, is he feeding the pigs or something? Like later in the movie, you see the father with the son again. He's back and he's doing was that him?
No, I meant in the town. I was expecting to see that kid as one of the bandits or one of the gangsters, and maybe he would learn a tough lesson about being hey, maybe you don't want to be a bad guy. Maybe it's kind of scary and deadly, so that's what I was kind of thinking. But so anyway, our hero, he meets with them, they give him sake. He drives a hard bargain. He's very stoic. He's not very worried. But the wife does tell him, we'll just let him handle our enemies, and then we'll kill his ass too. We don't have to pay him nothing.
Yeah, so they're getting everything. And the money they give him, they'll just take it off his body.
Right. And Remdog talks about, I think obviously the literal star, but then the best part of this movie that is excellent in every aspect is the performance of Toshiro Mifune, the main character, the guy sitting there holding his hand out with the little cup of alcohol. I'm telling you, the ease this guy has about himself is all the great leading men. He's just so masculine, stoic, relaxed, cool, got a smile on his face. And he says, when they're talking about killing him, and he sticks his tongue out at the hookers I know what's up here. People are talking about murdering you, and you're laughing it off. Like, don't worry about it. I got this shit.
Yeah, this happens every week. Well, his skills are so superior, and he's already shown them. He killed 5-6 dudes already. So this guy knows his competition ain't shit, or his competition's non-existent. So this guy, and that's what's so appealing about him, is no matter what. And again, like I said, everybody, not only the old man, but even the two leaders of the gangs, like they're all frantic and, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you over there and this over here. And he's the only one who's just like, it's almost like he's the fucking, like Matt McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. Hey, it's all good, man. Like everybody is literally running around. You go here, you go there. Oh my God. And he's like, check this shit out.
Right.
What's going to happen?
So
he starts slicing and dicing.
Right when Yojimbo is expected to lead the pimps are like men out into the middle of the street to fight the gambling guys' army, his guys. He says, "Nah, I'm not helping nothing. Kill each other. I don't give a shit." You know what I mean? and they're like, "Oh my God, our secret weapon! He's not going to fight for us. He's not like that." Would like, oh, that put a crimp in their
put a real damper on things,
right? And but then that gets interrupted because I guess there's been an assassination and an inspector's going to come to town.
Mm-hmm.
So the bad guys that are all going to kill each other on that main dragon town, they're like, and they all back off. They're like, well, we'll get you tomorrow.
And yeah, they tell the two leaders that they're face to face. Like, I'm gonna get you, and you're lucky. You're lucky this time. Next time, I'm gonna fucking slice your head off and all this shit. And they both go their separate ways because, like, I'm sure back then, just like now, police presence messes up business. I can't be pimping and gambling all this shit because the man's here. So it's fucking it up for everybody.
And just so you know, Jericho, this character from Saturday Night Live is based on this character. It's based on Toshiro Mifune. I didn't know that. I found that out just recently. But our Japan man, played by the one and only John Belushi, that he based this, I guess, off of this character. So I found that very interesting.
And I think it was also the movie was sponsored by McDonald's, if I'm not mistaken. It was sponsored by Mickey D's. Or I think he says Mikadonado. That's what he says.
Let's see.
And that's the pimp. That's the pimp's wife. The pimp leader's wife.
Yeah.
And she's in charge of the bitches. She keeps them online, and she's crazy too.
Right.
She's not like, you think feudal Japan, silence a woman to bring me a sake. But no, she's running shit. She is out of her mind, crazy and violent.
Right. So yeah,
slaps her son a few times.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So she slapped her son a couple times. She's crazy.
Right, because her son is kind of like a chicken to her.
Yeah, fucking. Oh yeah, he's a bitch.
Yeah, at one point she tells him to like go and fight and die like a man because he like doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, the shame. So yeah, he climbs this big tower in the center of the town, Yojimbo, and he's just like, yeah, kill each other. See if I care. And they're really pissed because he's a secret weapon and he could take out tons of guys. He's that much of a badass.
Easily.
Right.
And that's when they're telling each other, you're lucky. And he's saying, you go here, you go there, like he said, blah, blah, blah. They're giving directions to their guys. And like, this is like, you're lucky. You're lucky.
And the reason, and again, just to reiterate, the reason they stop is because this guy rolls into town, says there's like an assassination or an assassination attempt at a nearby thing. And I'm here to investigate it. And I'm going to go to the other town, investigate. So the heat is on. So these gangsters are like, no gang war in the streets right now because the central government with an actual army that could kill them all, they got their eyeball on this town. And we don't need to be doing anything while they're
which is bad for Yojimbo too, because he can't pit these guys against each other and go back and forth and make money off of both of them because there's no activity going. There's no war. There's no beef because the cops are here.
Right. So let's see this. What happens after that? Yeah. So, and again, as an illustrator, as an artist, so much of the framing in this movie is gorgeous. So many of these shots are just absolutely beautiful. And we can't do it justice here with stills because sometimes it's not just the layout of where the people are in the shot. It's the movement of things, of horses, of flags waving. He uses rain in a lot of his movies, just weather and stuff. It's really gorgeous, the visual in this. There's no color. He did do color movies later. He had a movie called Ran in the 80s that's beautifully colorful. And this director, Akira Kurosawa. But, these old black and white movies, the way the motion and the framing is just stunning in these.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
And some of the scenes, they end with fading out. Some are like wiped. Like they just like wipe the new scene in and push the old one out. You got that big tall guy there, the big freakish tall dude, which you see. And I don't remember it in Fistful of Dollars. They had a real big dude to beat him up. But I do remember in Last Man Standing, they had this huge giant guy on their team. One of them did. And that's their huge giant guy who does what he's going to do to Yojimbo later on in the movie. But yeah, and then you got the one thing I noticed about the rain scene was that the one coming up is one of the bosses, the boss the big guy whose team he's on, they both come in there to talk to Yojimbo and offer him money and shit. And the big guy, he's holding an umbrella over his boss, but he's like getting soaking wet. So it's just like, everything is about the boss. Take care of him, keep him dry. Who cares about me? But something I thought about, I was like, man, it must suck to be fucking soaking wet back then. Like, unless you had to change your clothes, that must have been very miserable to sit there fucking just. And their clothes back then were like the material a gi is made out of, like almost like burlap, real thick quality shit. So to have that all wet and just kind of hanging on you, that must have really, really sucked back then. Because now we have for decades and decades, but we have a pretty cush modern life. You know, there is no sitting around in your wet, soggy clothes. You just take them off, put on some new ones, throw them in the washing machine or whatever. Like, it's so easy. I always think about the discomfort of the times back then, you know, that they just had to deal with. You're just soggy, or you're just super hot,
freezing cold in that heavy thing, and it's soaked, and then you just
you get pneumonia and fucking die. Like, that shit, we will miss a couple of days of work. These guys are dying from that shit back then. Right. We got it good. We got it good.
So then these guys are drunk in a tavern, and there's Sanjuro, Yojimbo, whatever. He's sleeping, and he's pretending to sleep in the background. And they're talking about the hit of that official in the other town. They're drunk and they're blabbing way too much. Mm-hmm. And that was from Yushitora, which was the guy who's in charge of the gambling and the alcohol, that gangster. These were his guys. So Sanjuro, he captures those guys and he sells them to the other gangster. And then he goes back to the alcohol. So he sells them to the pimp gangster, and then he goes back to the alcohol gangster and tells them about it. And when he keeps playing this shit against them, and he keeps getting paid from them, and I'm on his side, and I'm on his side. But everyone fears him so much that they're not like, well, we'll just kill him, because they could try, but it's going to be terrible.
It's not going to be good. And he's just making money, basically selling information to both sides, even though he's causing the drama that he's selling the information about, which is genius. And in this scene right here, he pulls his sword, and he doesn't kill him, but the guy there on the right with no shirt, he had a shirt on in the beginning of the scene. He turned to walk away, and it shows his sword skills. He cuts the guy, and the guy thinks he's cut too. He falls on the ground. He walks up to him and goes, "Get up, you're fine." And what he did was he cut the dude's shirt off. Like, that's the control he had of that blade. Right. Instead of slicing his back open, he just cut his shirt off. So he's a cold motherfucker with that sword.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. He's like, let me take a little off the edge there for you.
Dude, look at me, have that kind of control where you're only cutting the cloth and not, slicing into that dude's back like a hot knife through butter. Shit's amazing.
That's how he gets his ladies' clothes off when they get romantic.
He's like, "Hold still, baby." Ooh, they just fall around her ankles.
As dumb as some women are, I think they would find that erotic,
Hell yeah.
It's always confusing, that thing where women are like, oh, there was a cannibal that ate 9 people, and then women are writing him love letters and marrying him in prison.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy would bludgeon. He would bludgeon women to death, and then he was a necrophiliac. He even murdered a child. And yeah, women were, I want to marry him. He's so cute and all this. And this is back in the 80s? Charles Manson in the 60s and the 70s.
That? And it's not all women, but it's there's some like that. That's pure insanity.
It's he's a wild, crazy animal. He could kill me, but he won't. It's like the people. Have you ever seen people who own exotic animals? They think that they have a connection. Right. They all say the same thing. I have a connection that he wouldn't attack me. He would never do that. And there's pictures of him feeding him with a bottle, and they're small. And now it's 575 pounds, and they're wrestling with him and all this shit. But that's a wild animal, and it only takes. And there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. You're not keeping the wildness at bay. It just doesn't want to kill you yet. But as soon as it does, you'll be a victim at the snap of a finger, because that's a wild beast. But they think, it's like Beauty and the Beast. Everyone else is so scared of him, but I can stroke his hairy face and he won't kill me. Like, yeah, he will, you dumbass.
I can fix
it.
Yeah, exactly. There's the guy version of it where they're going to, date the drug addicted stripper, whatever, that's, slashed the tires of her last 5 boyfriends' cars. It's like, I can save her.
I don't think it's that deep. I think that he just gets crazy sex out of it. There's scratch marks in his back. And that's what he's into. Because we don't have that I can save her kind of, not usually, not in general.
I think more nice guys are that way. Like, I'm the white knight, right? That white knight phenomenon with guys.
But usually that crazy bitch isn't going to be with some simp who, stretches out her jeans for her before she wears them. I think that there's a certain guy who's a little bit crazy himself who likes that craziness because she's going to, suck the sheets up into your butthole. So that's why. I think that's what it is. I just think it's like.
We've talked about the whole crazy girl thing before.
Yeah,
this is like seafood for me. This is a no-go, and it's never been one. If I found out a girl was crazy, I don't care if she was like freaky in bed or whatever. Like, no, I don't want to date an unbalanced woman. It sounds horrible. No.
It does, for sure. To a sane man.
Like a lot of guys, they would give it a go.
Yeah. They like to live on the edge. And we're thrill seekers by nature to a certain extent. So I think
but not that.
But I just don't think it's I can fix her. I think it's just like, holding on to a bucking Brahma bull as long as you can.
I don't know.
Until you get bucked off.
To make my life easier, make my life better, help me achieve more.
But this could also be a trait of a younger man, a younger, more foolish man. Do you think a lot of middle-aged and older guys are dealing with these crazy
I think there's a lot of guys that have been stupid with young, like the older midlife crisis guy, right? You got your guy, he's 45, 55 years old, and he's like got a wife, and all of a sudden he's dating the bartender, and she's 20 years younger than him, and he's going wild, and he gets a convertible, and he gets on testosterone replacement, gets the hair plugs, and he's like, that's that cliche of the midlife crisis.
For sure.
And it's not common, but it's not rare, but it's not common,
But I don't think it's her psychosis that's attractive. It's her youth. She's young. She's in the bar scene, woo, we're going to have some fun. You're going to drink White Claw for the first time, shit like that. But I still think that goes back to sex.
She's going to have you listening to rap music. You're going to start a TikTok account. You're like 53 and you're on TikTok or Snapchat.
Yeah, this is Lil Pump. Now put your lips like that. Woo! Oh my God, that just sounds like a nightmare.
Right.
To be hanging like with Shannon Sharp. I said, look, I understand the attraction to the youth. Right. Everything's high and tight and all that stuff. But what do you have to talk about with a 19-year-old and you're 54? That would make me want to jump into traffic.
I was kind of surprised that he got in that trouble because I always thought Shannon Sharp was super gay. I'm not even kidding. He just comes off as a really gay dude.
Yeah, he's very metrosexual, his little purse and little dogs.
He's the kind of guy to wear leather loafers with no socks. Like,
yeah. And he might take it in the stinker like twice a week. He might be mostly heterosexual. He might, but then again, you get into that bi shit. I don't think that's bi. You're just gay. Like you don't get points for being heterosexual. That doesn't count. I'm bi. No, you're gay.
I don't know.
It doesn't count if you're having sex with the opposite sex.
Shannon Sharp he just always. I mean, I'm a Denver Bronco guy. He was part of those teams, the first two Super Bowls that our team won, and I say our team. That's right. Love Shannon Sharp as one of the greatest tight ends that ever played. But is he really a tight end?
Not anymore. That thing is blown
when they say
out.
Former Denver Broncos tight end, they mean that both ways.
Yeah, like a rubber band. Like a rubber band can make a circle if you sit it down, but if you pick it up, it's like, so I think that's probably what it's like. Like he probably bangs chicks, but they got to put something in his butt first. Like it's something I think he definitely plays for both teams, so to speak. Because how can you be that metro? Like he has little Yorkie dogs and he wears purses and shit. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? He was a crossbody. You wear a crossbody. That's for a chick who's at a theme park who doesn't want to bring all the shit out of her big purse. What are you doing wearing a crossbody bag? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's a little something.
What? Nah, dude. You might as well make gay porn if you're wearing a crossbody. Get out of here. What do you have in there that can't fit in your wallet?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
what do you have in there as a man that doesn't fit in your wallet?
There's that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry has the European carry-all, but they just keep saying, a purse.
Fuck that. Oh, what's his name? No surprise here. Dwayne Wade. He's like, they have those, he was on something where like, oh, what are 10 things that you just can't do without? And he has one of those little cross bodies, which should just be basically it should be shaped like a rubber dildo. And you just unzip the dildo.
Only come in a rainbow pattern.
Yeah, that's it. But he was like, oh, I got to have my lip gloss and I keep my hands moisturized.
No, are you serious?
I swear. He's on my lips always have to be more. Dude,
I don't trust guys using chapstick.
Stop it.
I don't
Stop
like.
it.
What do you need your lips all slick for, bro? What's going on?
I mean, if you're in the Arctic and your lips are gonna break off, yeah, you can hit it with some Bliss sticks.
Like you just had 4 pieces of the Colonel's original recipe at all times. I don't trust you.
Hey,
no man's lips should be that shiny.
If you always look like you just sucked off the Colonel, no thanks. Get out of here.
Always had that look. Ron Popeil. Do you know who that is?
Ron Popeil. No, that's a strange
he was one of the
last
great
name.
Americans. He was an inventor of a million things, and he was always on infomercials late at night.
Oh, yeah.
I would always tell my wife, this dude looks like he just ate a Costco rotisserie chicken.
Dude,
he always had shiny-ass lips, this guy. I don't know why.
Sucking off the Colonel.
I don't think he was up to anything nefarious. I just think he liked to stay moisturized.
How else as a man, how else do your lips get like that?
I'm telling you, it was the Costco $5 fried chicken or roasted chicken.
He was sucking off the guy that made the chicken. But yeah, you should have no shiny lips.
No, he
as
was
a
like
man.
Vegematic, food dehydrator. This,
yeah,
he was always selling crap on TV at night. Rest in peace.
He probably kept the red apron game alive.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But
he had those shiny lips.
There's just some things that we cannot abide. We can't abide with certain things as a man. You just can't, because then you're not a man anymore, and we're needed.
I saw some guy online like 5 years ago, and he was like, it wasn't Shark Tank, but he was like looking for investment because he was trying to make makeup for men. Yeah, it was like, foundation to even your skin color on your face and this and that.
Grow a beard. You want to cover up shit on your face? Grow a beard, dude. What? If a guy dressed like that, or like some of these metrosexual dudes do back then, when this movie takes place, they would kill you. They would all just run out and cut you into pieces.
Now,
because what are you doing?
What season are you? Are you like an autumn? Is that like your color palette? Are you more like a summer?
What season are we in? Because that's all I know about season.
I don't know what this is exactly, but as an artist, I can kind of infer. I've heard women say that, oh, she's a summer. So that makes me think like, okay, bright colors like yellows and oranges. And then autumn is what you're going to be like browns and greens and grays or something. Or, I don't know. Apparently that's how that shit is done.
I don't get it. Thank God I don't have a metro streak in me or a metro bone in my body. Because, I mean, it's okay to take care of yourself. I'm not saying you got to be this overgrown, stinky beast.
Well, I'm all for brushing your teeth every day.
Yeah, it's cool to shave, trim your beard, your mustache, whatever. Yeah.
Hey, Heather
some
says
light maintenance.
She says
you're a winter.
So what does that
I
mean?
guess
is that like grays and blues, like cool colors?
I guess winter's cool. Winter's
I think you
cold
look
and
nice. A
unforgiving.
little bit of lilac on your eyes, little
lilac. Can I put lilac on my butt?
Lilac. It's one of those.
Lilac.
You're a winter.
I
think you'd look great in like a poncho, and then we could get you a little.
And that's it.
Yeah, just a poncho, nothing else.
A poncho that's too short, that I have to constantly pull down like a chick when she wears a mini skirt that's too short.
Porky pigging it around town, dude.
Hey, fucking look or don't. If you don't like it, don't fucking look. But eat. You know? How did they get away with that?
Knows this. There's a book about dressing your season, came out in the 70s, if I recall. I don't know.
I guess for the ladies, you can do whatever you want. You guys hold hands and hook arms. And
you want to poof it up and put sprinkles and glitter and all the things.
I don't care what chicks do. Yeah, go for it. You guys are free to do whatever you want.
Although I do think there's a line with the ladies like putting the spackle on. Listen, you have to look like you. Because you've seen some of those Instagram reels, whatever, where the lady's like a toothless, ugly, unibrowed witch, and then she does all the makeup, and I don't know if they get a different girl, but she looks like a model. It's like, you can't do that. Like,
that's deception. That's deception. That's like a totally different guy, like some hot dude macking on you all night, and then when you walk out to get in his car, he calls his buddy over, who's like,
Igor. He calls Igor. Hey.
There's a hump on his head. Yes, master. And you're like, whoa, where's Brad Pitt? No, he's gone. We washed him off. We washed the makeup off. This is what you got. Yeah, that's deceptive. But who the fuck is looking at that in public and not seeing the 1/4 inch of fucking Bondo that's on her face? Like, who's being fooled by that? Like, of course that's not for real, but
why do you think nightclubs are dark? There's a reason.
Oh, we've all been there. You cut those lights on and you're like, whoa.
Boom. It's 1:30. The DJ stops the music. The lights come on. You're like, oh boy.
Whoa. You hear a collective gasp across
You just
the
hear
club.
that record scratch.
Where's the girl I've been buying drinks for all night?
Yeah.
It's me. Oh, no, it's not.
What happened to your friend? Where'd he go?
Let me see your feet. All right, let's go.
Right.
But it doesn't work in reverse.
No.
Like a super ugly chick with pretty feet, it doesn't do anything to elevate her score either. But it'll sure bring it down.
Oh. So maybe you're not a foot weirdo, because if you were a foot weirdo, then the gorgeous feet, whatever that means, could overrule the troll.
Everybody knows what gorgeous. Don't act like I'm on an island. I'm the only person who knows what pretty feet look like.
Switzerland of feet. I'm completely neutral. I'm like,
no, there's no way. There's no way that you are completely neutral. Dude, like you wouldn't care.
You might as well be talking to me about her elbow. I don't.
No, because maybe you've been blessed with a woman who has pretty feet, so you don't know what's out there.
Pretty, they're not sexual. They're feet.
Look, Google ugly women's feet, and you'll see
I'm not
the difference. You'll be like,
anything like that.
Like, I wouldn't want those under my kitchen table. Yeah, fuck that. Or look up Shaq's feet or Kevin Durant's feet. Yeah,
what if your wife was a beautiful prima ballerina and they have brutal feet?
There you go. So you do know what ugly feet look like. There are ugly feet. Like would you want some ballerina feet rubbing up against you at night?
Yeah,
you wouldn't.
Hey. You ever seen a ballerina's body though?
Yeah, if you like the POW look.
So you're telling me
I like my woman to look like some soldiers forgot about her. And
you couldn't hang with this?
No. What the fuck, dude? No. Ew.
But that's what happens when you do the ballet. They fuck your feet up.
And she can belong to someone else. That looks like a hand. Fuck that. No way. I mean, if you got ugly feet out there, ladies, whatever. I'm not hating on you.
I got to get to the bottom of this. Have you ever?
We're at the bottom.
Have you ever ordered socks from a stranger in the mail?
Hell fucking no. That's disgusting.
I won't judge you.
I'm not in Tokyo. Okay. And I was telling my friend that the other day. I was like, man, in America, all we have in vending machines is food and drinks. But in Japan, they got all kinds of fucking
I've heard Japan has some nasty things in some vending machines.
Ew. 3 days or 7 days? No, thank you. There is a such thing as ugly feet. Pretty feet are more attractive.
I don't know what this means, but Heather says she has little middles. So what, the middle toe is short or something?
You have a half a middle toe?
I don't know.
And you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about? Don't act like you guys don't know what I mean.
With the monster feet, I'd totally date her if she was gorgeous. The rest of
it. Fuck no, you wouldn't.
I would. I 100% would.
Before you banged her, you would. But as soon as she slid those fucking dogs out, you're like, wait, do you have a dog? No. Then who's barking in here? And you look down at those fucking traumatized toes? No.
What about hobbit feet on women where they have giant feet and they're hairy on top? Like,
fucking way. I'm like, hey, I got one question. Where'd you put your jacket? Good. Go put it on and get the fuck out of here.
You're like, hey,
take those clodhopper fucking feet with you. Take fucking Earl Campbell's feet with you. Exactly.
He says they can sand floors with those.
Yeah, man. Fuck that.
I'm telling you, to me, a woman's foot is like her elbow. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You have to.
The ballerina with the brutal feet. I would.
But that's part of her femininity. That goes in the same category as the hips and the shape of a woman. Her feet need to be feminine and pretty and clean. Like they can't look like mine. No, hell no. Elbow, schmelbo. Nope. There's a difference between pretty feet and fucking ugly feet. I've seen them. You're like, hot damn, those are ugly.
I'm going to catch you in your web of lies, and you're going to admit you're a foot weirdo.
There is no web. I'm not worried about it. There's no web.
I'm going to trip you up.
Everybody agrees with me. Now, it might not be a deal breaker. It might not be a deal breaker to some people.
Are you now, or have you ever been a woman's shoe store salesman?
No, I've never been to Al Bundy. But maybe
that's the ultimate job for the foot pervert. That's the ultimate job.
My wife's like, when are you coming home? I got to work late. I got a meeting.
I don't know. I'm mystified by you caring this much about women's feet. I just don't care.
Well, not women in general, but yeah, my wife
What
has
if,
beautiful feet.
God forbid, your wife took up ballet and brutalized her feet.
She had a foot accident.
No, I don't want to like doom on her, but she did it herself by doing. She's a graceful ballerina. Your wife, one of the best. She's the best in the Northern California region.
Congratulations, honey, you made it.
But her feet now look like Godzilla's feet.
Hey, you know what? Dance your ass over there to somebody else.
You're getting a divorce?
Yeah, it's over.
No.
It's over. You knew, and it's over even quicker because you knew I liked your feet. You went and fucked them up. We're done.
All right.
We're done. My wife, they're all, sir, don't go in there. Your wife been in a terrible foot accident.
Your wife was in a terrible ballet performance. Don't go in there, sir.
No, what about her toes? Just tell me about her toes.
Sir, it's more bunion than toe now.
Oh, no.
And you hit the floor on your knees, looking up at the sky. No.
Why did you take me? Why did you take my feet?
My feet?
Why wasn't it my feet? Yeah, man, it's fucking terrible.
I'm lost on this movie.
Yeah, so anyway, feet, guys, that's it. And scene.
I love this guy.
So yeah, this fucking that dude, he could bite an apple through a fence. Look at those fucking teeth. Who was it? D.L. Hughley? He said he had such buck teeth he'd go down on a woman and give her a hysterectomy. But that guy, that's hold on. Well, his real name is Jerry Fugio. Jerry Fugio. But he is their young gun. In Last Man Standing, he's Hickey, played by Christopher Walken. He's their crazy ace in the hole. He's been gone for a year, traveling and shit. And so he's back now. So now Yojimbo's stock may have dropped a little bit because now they got their own psycho. And he came back with a gun, so I don't know where he traveled.
Yeah, he's got a pistol within 5,000 miles.
Yeah, and he's shooting the shit out of it everywhere all the time. He reminds me of if you gave a 9-year-old boy a real gun. But he would just carry it around and shoot it all the time and never put it away. Yeah, just like a fucking idiot. So that's who this guy is. He's their ace in the hole. He's their hitman, and he is definitely off a little bit.
Right. So what's happened now is the gang wars escalated. The alcohol gang, that's what we'll call them, they brought in this young guy with the gun. And so the hooker gang from the north end of town or whatever, they still have Sanjuro, the main character. They still have him. And there's been a farmer whose wife has been kidnapped. He's been kidnapped by the southern gang. He's loyal to the northern gang, this farmer. His wife, the farmer, was the mistress of the northern prostitute gang guy. And he did that to curry favor with this guy. But that guy's like, hey, where's my mistress? And the southern gang has her hidden somewhere. So that's the next development of the escalation of these two gangs. They're just fighting for control of this town.
And he's like crazy, like, oh my God, don't hurt her. Like that's the love of his life. So, and again, in Last Man Standing, I keep referring to this one because that's the one I saw first, even before Fistful of Dollars. I've seen it a bunch of times, but again, it's just like this one. But yeah, this is the woman where he's like, oh, anything, just don't hurt her. He's mystified and beguiled by this woman. He is just so fucking in love. So he's willing to trade whatever to get her back.
Right. So it's the same scene as Fistful of Dollars, where you have the girl that the one gangster, like he wants to force himself on her and be her lover, and she's like doesn't want to have it, and she's married to like a poor like kind of farmer guy like this and that, and you have that scene where they march in the main drag down Main Street and they do the trade-off, you know what I mean? And you have the baby son crying, mommy. So it's like, again, this is why the Toho Film Company sued the Clint Eastwood movie, because it's like a 1-for-1 remake on that, you know. So
yeah, like imagine how they felt. Oh man, you got to check out this new Clint Eastwood movie. It's called A Fistful of Dollars. Let's check it out. What the?
Right.
Like,
and the whole reason I'm sorry, I forgot. The whole reason the alcohol gang is willing to trade the girl is because Yojimbo, Sanjuro, he kidnapped one of the big important guys from the alcohol gang, gave it to the prostitution gang. So now they're like, we're going to trade you your guy for the girl in the middle of town. So there you go. And Heather said she's gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know who this actress is. She's very feminine, very beautiful lady. So yeah. Let's see. Guy with the gun, Tetsuya Nakadai, would pick up as leading man in Kurosawa pictures after Mifune and Kurosawa split in 65. Yeah, and he has that look. The big dog here on the left, he does. It's funny. You can tell he has some white blood. He's not purely Japanese. You can tell he has European blood, but he has that daytime soap opera. Like he's got the good looks. You know, he's got the brow, the cheekbones, the jawbone. Like he looks like a real masculine, not a pretty boy though, like a tough guy. You know. And it's not surprising to hear he goes on to be a leading man in some movies there. Because, he comes in and he's the analog to Sanjuro. He's like, oh, I'm the handsome badass too, kind of like you. Because I think the guy that plays Sanjuro, the main character, he's a good looking guy too. He's got a very masculine face. You know, he just looks like a powerful man. And he's got that great way about him of how relaxed he is. So, what a time. The old days when almost nobody was fat.
Can't shake him. Can't shake him at all.
You see those pictures back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, people, the crowds at the beach, and no one is fat. Yet nobody dieted and nobody worked out.
How is that?
Obviously, the food has changed.
Yeah, it's what they had. I say that to my wife when we'll be watching something. You know, the other day we were watching something that took place in 1923. And they were bringing this guy this huge spread of food. It was breakfast. So there was breads and jams and eggs and bacon and all this stuff. I'm like, imagine what that tasted like. Where it was just, grain or grass, whatever they fed the animal. That's it. Right. The preservatives or whatever you had, it was just fruit and sugar. The bread was just flour, yeast, eggs, or whatever. Like no more than 5 ingredients. And how are we not able to produce those same things like that without it just being, injected and pumped full of all this?
The GMO stuff where they've modified the organism.
Yeah, and the seed oils and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't know.
Well, I like when you go to a good restaurant, you go to a gourmet restaurant or something, and it's real ingredients, gourmet preparation, and you can just taste how different it is. Mm-hmm. And we make so much food here at home. My wife's a heck of a cook. And that's what we use. We use the real butter, real meat, real things, and it just tastes so different. We have our own chickens, and we do too. They come a little more orange, a little more yellow from the chickens that you have at your house.
You look at a store-bought egg and a farm, a farm fresh egg. It's the store-bought one's like yellow, like canary yellow.
Yeah.
The one from the farm-raised chickens are a deep orange, and they sit up higher. They're taller. The store-bought egg yolks are a little flatter, almost like a puddle almost. And you look at the ones you get from like your chickens, they sit up higher and they're taller. But we just got 7 chickens. We talked about that another time. Nice. We just got 7 of them. So any knowledge, let me know.
I have 3.
But
we had 4, but one got sick and she died. She went to chicken heaven. She might have gone to hell. I don't know, but I think she went to chicken heaven.
Well, they say all dogs go to heaven, so I think chickens can too. But I know that we've had a humongous population explosion since, like I mentioned, 100 years ago.
Right.
But I still believe we can produce good food on a larger scale, right?
No, it's just a money thing. It's cheaper this way to GMO it and all that. It's so they can get the yields from the plant to get more wheat or more lettuce or more whatever, and damn the nutrition.
Just take more land, grow more of it, so you make up for it in volume. We have so much land in this country where nobody's living on it. Do like we did before. Whoever's on it, we need it. Fucking move them off of it. Give them some shittier land to live on. I don't know, but the fuck, man, it's terrible.
You can get the good food out there, but one of the sad things about it is it's very expensive to eat.
Yeah,
healthy. I thank God I can afford to eat healthy, but you wonder why the poor are so obese. Like, well, because good food is really expensive, which is weird because good food is just normal food. Like that's how it used to be. Like this is just the OG food. Why does it cost so much?
Yeah, organic things are smaller because they're not pumping it full of shit. You look at what is it? Like a mass-produced Foster Farms chicken. They go from a baby to being ready to eat in 3 weeks.
Right.
What?
That's a little something. Yeah, we have. My wife has some friends. They raise meat birds. So that's chicken to cut up, fry and roast and all that. But they also do the egg laying hens too. And we got our hens from them, I believe. Maybe not. I don't know. But we were gonna buy some of the meat birds from them one time. Still think we should, and then prepare them ourselves and then freeze them. So
We did
get
that
yourself
shit.
a big chest freezer if you have room in your garage. The kind you can stick a whole deer in. Get one of those, and then you buy the meat when it's on sale, and you can butcher things and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we raise our own hogs and chickens, so you can taste. There is a huge difference. If somebody blindfolded you and gave you a piece of bacon from the store or from a ranch, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that one of them's bacon. The one from the ranch is going to have such a different flavor to it, where it's strange. It's like it would taste weird to you. Being so used to regular processed bacon, the good stuff would taste weird to you. And I remember having to get used to that, once I grew up and moved away from home and all that shit, or once we got rid of the hogs, because I was used to things tasting a certain way, and then to taste something different.
You grew up, your dad was a gourmet chef. You grew up in the kind of the country and all that. So you grew up eating really good all natural food. I grew up the same way. My dad is a gourmet chef. My mom's side, they own a restaurant. Everything's homemade. Don't even buy spaghetti sauce. Everything's homemade sauces, gravies, roasted meats. So I grew up eating super healthy, super delicious food. And I didn't have bologna till I was in college. I didn't have Velveeta till I was in college. And my buddy wanted to have
Velveeta.
So what was it like when you got in the Navy and I'm eating what I'm imagining is slop, like the Navy food? Was it just pure slop from the galley, or was it good?
I mean, it was definitely lower quality food. Like we would get, if we went down on the mess decks, that's like the cafeteria where you go to eat. And when you get down there and you're the first one in line at, say 1700 or something, 5:00, they literally roll up the doors and then you start moving down the line to get food put on your tray. So when they roll up these doors, and if you see steak and lobster, you're about to get fucked. Now,
you're about to deploy if they're giving you steak and lobster.
Your civilian mind is thinking steak and lobster, New York, ribeye, a filet, some succulent, Rhode Island bugs, whatever they want to call them. No, we're talking bottom of the barrel, fucking it's steak, as they shrug their shoulders and tilt their head. It's steak, it's lobster. It's not the high quality shit. But you knew that when they were serving that, they were about to announce, early reveille, which means early wake up time, late day, late work day or something like that. But yeah, there's definitely a drop in quality for sure.
Did you have a favorite military meal? Like one you still kind of craved? Maybe it wasn't great, or the nostalgia?
No.
Really?
There's nothing I crave. We had chicken 48 different ways, cheeseburgers, fucking spaghetti. Yeah, it was. But I will say that when you first get on the ship, if you're undesignated, you have to work in the galley for 3 months. So I did that, and it's called FSA, food service attendant or some shit. Basically, you're making the meals and stuff. You're working in the kitchen. And I got FSA of the month because I was like, you have subpar ingredients, but if you care, like many things in life, if you care, you can improve that. So I put a lot of TLC. I tried to make it better. I tried to make it something people would enjoy. And so it worked. I was rewarded for it.
I love that story of when you made the orange chicken at Trader Joe's and you gave it to the Asian lady to taste a sample.
Oh, no, it was miso soup.
Oh, miso soup, sorry.
It was miso soup. And she goes, ooh, these are good. Dude, I don't care what anybody says. I was like, hey, I made it because an older Japanese woman liked the Japanese soup that I made. That comment is going to carry more weight. That compliment is going to carry more weight than somebody who wasn't Japanese. That's the way it is. My daughter, when she was in 4th grade, she got a math award. She was standing up there with a bunch of Indian kids. I was like, hell yeah. My daughter is fucking smart. She's up there with the Patels. Shit.
That's right. With Sanjay.
She's going to be all right. Yeah. Just like if your kid, if you're not black and your kid's on a track team or something, he's up there with all the black kids getting a fucking track award. You're like, that boy is fast. He's up there with the black kids.
As far as military food goes, I bought some MREs out of curiosity on Amazon, and I ate one, and it was actually like a good curiosity. It was brisket with beef gravy, scalloped cheddar cheese potatoes, and then just a bunch of junk like Pop-Tart, cinnamon roll, Gatorade mix. You have to mix. And it had the little heater thing where you put water on whatever, and then it heats itself.
Yeah, the chemical,
But I bought some real MREs on Amazon out of curiosity. My grandfather cooked a little bit in the military. He drove an ambulance. He was an infantry ground soldier on the islands fighting the Japanese. But one thing he cooked in the military that he made when I was a kid that I loved, looks horrible, but the way he made it was delicious, is shit on a shingle.
SOS.
This is ground beef.
Yeah.
You add flour, salt, pepper, a little onion powder, and you just make a beef gravy. Put that on buttered toast. Boy, you want to talk about good.
Yeah.
This looks horrible, but it's good.
Yeah, dude, MREs, they've come a long.
Now, I've never had the cousin chip beef where it's this thinly sliced like red lunch meat beef with gravy. I've never had that.
A little higher quality, but the same concept.
Shit on a shingle is not going to win a beauty contest, but it's delish.
No, but you put a blindfold on, Michelin.
Yeah.
But the MREs have come a really, really, really long way, thankfully. I had an MRE ration from World War II.
Damn.
That shit was crazy. I found it somewhere and fucking ate it. I was okay. I think I am.
There's a great YouTube channel like Steve 1972 or whatever, like his birth year, I think. And he eats MREs. He's a former soldier. He's a youngish guy. He looks like in his late 20s, early 30s. And he's got like long hair, kind of talks like a little bit like a hippie man, like a real peaceful dude. But he eats MREs kind of out of nostalgia, but he goes wild with them. And like, this is a Korean stir-fry rice from 1983. This is a German MRE. This is a French, American. But he eats World War II stuff all the time. And he even got a piece of hardtack, which is like a baked bread with bacon fat from the Civil War.
Damn.
And he tried a nibble of it. So, and he said he got so violently ill once and he went to the hospital because he had like a South Korean MRE that was pork fried rice or shrimp fried rice or something like that. But it was like, 7 years old or something. Like, bro, don't be fooling with 7-year-old seafood, man. Come on now.
Fucked up.
Come on, man.
But that's and World War II back in the day. I don't know how long they did this, but it would come with cigarettes too. The ration it would come with some smokes.
Right. It would always come with coffee, a little coffee powder. And it always come with chocolate. And it would come with like lifesavers. These World War II ones, I would see that. It would always be coffee, hot chocolate, lifesavers, and then whatever the meal was, and sometimes cookies. There would always be crackers too.
Yeah. It came with crackers. The one I had was crackers, spaghetti, chocolate, and one other thing. And this old soldier, because I worked at the post office for a little bit, so a lot of veterans, because they get preferential hiring. So this one guy, he said, when we were in Vietnam and we were in the jungle, you take a piece of toilet paper out of your rations. And he said, the first thing you do is fold it in half and you tear out a little circle, right? And he goes, you're going to keep this circle. Don't discard this. And so you open it up again and it's a square of toilet paper with a hole in the middle. And he said, you put that on your finger and you stick your finger through the hole and you wipe your ass. And then when you wipe your ass, you got shit all over your finger. So you take the toilet paper that's around it and you use it to kind of, wipe all the shit off your hand. And then that part in the middle that you tore out, you use that to get the shit from under your fingernail. And that's how they would fucking wipe their ass.
I don't like this at all.
That's what they went through for us.
At all. This is the worst story you've ever told on this show.
Thank you, because I've told some bad ones. Thank you very much.
You get the dookie all over your middle finger.
Yeah,
Make sure you get it in the fucking edge of your nail bed. Make sure.
Duke. Get that Duke. Well, there's no porta potties out there. You can't be somewhat civil about it.
Having a war, having a pointless war.
You're just hoping that a cobra doesn't jump up and bite you in your nutsack.
Some of those traps the Viet Cong set up, so nasty.
Brutal. They put feces on it so you get gangrene.
Like they were
sharpened bamboo.
Painful. Like you step through the trap door and the two trap doors open and your leg goes through, but then the trap doors had spikes on them.
Yep. So that's the worst one. That's the worst one that I saw. They would build some that were like the size of pallets and they put spikes on it and they drop it from above from like 100 feet. And then would impale you. They had all these different, when you jump, you walk through and you step in a pit and there's a nail. But the worst one that I saw is the one that you described, where they would put two pieces of wood and they put like a piece of a belt or a strap, something that's flexible so it could fold over like this. Right. And when you step in it, your body weight would drive these two flat pieces of wood into the both sides of your knee. Yeah. But this would go, they had like 4 or 5 inch pieces of sharpened bamboo that would go into both sides of your fucking knee.
I've seen that one. I can't find it, but I've seen that one.
Dude.
It's horrible, dude.
And they put some shit on it. Now you got
one here. I think those will rotate, I think, and get you. Yeah.
Your
Look
body
at this.
weight is just, it's going to drive those things so deep. And then, so now you're a casualty, so to speak, because your boys, your other soldiers, now they got to fucking get you out of there. They got to carry you. You're slowing it down. Like, it's, dude, the Viet Cong were, dude, look at that. Some of them.
This is terrible here. Look at this thing. Oh God, how would you?
And you're going to fall through that. It's made so it goes through, and then they just impale both sides of your leg on that.
Get out of that thing. Oh my God.
And look how long they are. They're going to go through both sides and come out the other side of your fucking, look at that, right through your fucking ankle.
Ooh.
6 fucking sharpened piece of bamboo through both sides of your ankle. And it's your body weight that's driving it. You step forward, fall through it. And sometimes they would put a shotgun shell on it. So when you step on it, it was a piece of metal under, and your body weight would compress the shell and then hit the almost like a firing pin, and then hit the primer and blow your fucking foot off with a shotgun shell.
What a fucking nightmare.
Dude. So now
I was talking to my wife about the baby boomers. The baby boomers being counterculture, they rebelled against America, and they're the most selfish, greedy, ungrateful. And a lot of bad things are true about the baby boomers. But I would say they lost trust in their father's world because of Vietnam mainly. You get sent over there to do that bullshit for God knows what reason, and we all know the reason is just money. You weren't stopping communism. You weren't freeing the people. You were there because Raytheon and General Electric want to sell bullets. They want to sell helicopters.
And heroin.
Fake-ass war. And the baby boomers who were dying over there as young men, they caught on. They're like, yeah, this is kind of bullshit. This is really bullshit, and it's horrible. And I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back culturally, and our country's never been the same. You know, it's like that counterculture of hating America. That's where I think that's really where a lot of it comes from. That their own parents' government would send them off to the jungles to die like that. You know,
for nothing.
So,
and it's different if you're dying for something. Like
of
the
course,
boys,
there's nothing wrong with dying for righteousness.
In Pearl Harbor, you know, they were dying for something, and they were lining up and volunteering to go over there and fight. No problem. And I think that also determines what kind of welcome you're getting when you come back home. The soldiers at that statue in downtown San Diego, when the soldiers and the sailors came home, they were welcomed to a million cheer. Like it'd be like an NBA championship parade. A million people down there.
Yesterday was VED Day, the 80-something anniversary, 80th victory in Europe. That was yesterday. 80 years ago, we declared victory in Europe.
Yeah. And you have, look how they were welcomed. But Vietnam, the bullshit, and it was televised. That's the first war that was televised.
Right.
So people saw the horrors of it. So that made it even worse. You're sending us to this. And those booby traps you showed, look at the psychological shockwave, that the ripples that sends through the unit. You see that happen to your buddy. Now you're scared. Now you're looking where you're walking. You're scared of this and scared of that instead of focusing on the mission. It was genius on their part.
I think it was Eisenhower said the only people that really clamor for war are people that have never been in one. You know, I remember I got hate mail. I did comics starting all the way back in college. I did a Garfield Dilbert style humor strip. It was called Higher Education. It was a penguin and a monkey. They were frat boys. One was the straight man, one was the goofball, and that was their adventures. But the newspaper also hired me to do editorials. And one time for the edit, this is right after 9/11 or whatever. And, I was like, it was right when we started attacking Iraq. You know, the Iraq that had weapons of mass destruction and didn't attack us on 9/11, that Iraq. So I was against that. I didn't think we should do that. I thought that was harmful to our soldiers and the civilians over there. And I said so. And I made an editorial cartoon. I can't really remember the joke, but it was a map of our college town, and it was a map to the recruiter's office. And it was basically, if you support this shit, then here's the address and go fucking sign up. You know? And I got shitty emails from people. You're not patriotic. You don't love this country. It's like, no, it's because I love this country. I don't want people to go die for bullshit nonsense.
For nothing.
Weapons of mass destruction. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, how convenient.
Dude, that was
Remdoc says,
bullshit.
Look at all the boomers in Congress clinging to their power and jobs. Won't let the young learn the job. Why do you think we'll never see a Gen X president? The boomers hung out too long. You know what the most Gen X thing of all is? Is that there's a millennial president before there's a Gen X one. J.D. Vance is a millennial, and he'll be president before anyone from Gen X will ever be president. So, Yeah, but I do think the boomers have a lot of flaws, and I hate a lot of what they stand for and did. But the Vietnam thing, I think that broke that generation against their parents and their culture and their country. I really think it did.
True. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. And man, that weapons of mass destruction shit, you bastards. You bastards. Weapons of mass destruction? What kind of vague bullshit was that?
Weapons of ass destruction.
I got one of those, but. And then, dude, the way you found Saddam shaking and wet and cold in a fucking hole. And then you hung him in 20 minutes. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Where you been? How the fuck did you get down in that hole? What's really going on? Nope, they strung his ass up.
I heard, and I didn't see the video of it, I heard his head came off when they hung him, which seems unusual to me.
I saw a video of him being hung, but I don't remember if I watched the whole thing. But yeah, if you're too heavy, your head will pop off.
I guess.
There's a guy in Utah who had the death penalty, and he chose to be hung because in some states you could choose a firing squad to be hung. And he purposely made himself too fat so they wouldn't hang him because they thought his head would come off, and that's too inhumane. But keep in mind, this dude's on death row. Fuck humane. I hope his head pops off. Send that video to the family of his victims. I'll fucking laugh.
There was a guy today or yesterday I read on the news. He was shot by firing squad, and they missed his heart and all that, so it took longer for him to die.
Damn.
So they screwed up.
Oh well. I think lethal injection is a slap in the face to the victims of all the families of the people that they killed. Like, are you lethal injected? So you're going to put him to sleep and then give him the bad shit. What kind of punk ass pussy shit is that? To where you put him to sleep first and then you give him the juice.
We don't have the death penalty here in California. Remember, they got rid of it, back in the 90s or whatever, right?
Is there still a moratorium on it? There was a moratorium on it, I think, in the 70s. That's why Charles Manson didn't get it. Because I think right after they did that.
No, he got 18 wedding proposals from insane women. Dude, hold on, I got to grab some remote from behind me.
I wish that we would take a page, and I've said this forever. I've said this shit forever, that we should outsource our criminals to other countries to punish. We're not
like El Salvador. We're doing it with that Bukele in El Salvador.
But I mean, all of them, not just the illegal ones.
Those aren't ours. Those are foreign nationals. Those are not American citizens. That's right.
They're terrorists.
That's right.
They're fucking terrorists. I wish we would send all of them.
They deserve due process.
Yeah, I got your due process right
40
here.
40 billion people come here illegally, but
we don't have time for that shit.
We gotta have 40 billion court cases.
Yeah,
here with that.
One by one. Nah, dude, I'm talking bus loads of them. Get the fuck out of here.
743 years to have all the court cases. Shut up.
Nah, dude, get them out of here. We're not doing by the millions. If we could snatch up 1 million at a time. Do that. Get the fuck out of here. Just the fact that you're illegal is enough to be deported, isn't it? Right?
It is they always say they're not criminals. Like, being here illegally is a crime.
By the definition, you're a criminal.
So that you are a criminal if you're here illegally. That's a crime in and of itself.
To get them.
Yes. So
all of you get out of here. What other country does that other than Europe? They're idiots. London. All that Italy, you fucking idiots. You can't let.
Can you imagine if Jazz Hands, Tim Walz, and Kamala had won? What would
oh my God.
Could you imagine?
Do you know how bumper cars, they got that long metal rod sticking out of them that touches the ceiling so it sparks, that gives it we would all have big old dildos sticking out of our asses like that. If they became president, we all would.
It would be the law.
It would be Kamala would go to a G20 summit, and all the other world leaders would just be laying on the floor, pissing themselves with laughter.
I never heard of Tim Walz. I never heard of Tim Walz until Kamala announced him.
Never
heard of him. And I swear I'm telling you the truth. And I can't say the word because it's YouTube. The millisecond that I saw him, I thought he was the thing that is not allowed to go to the park and not allowed within 1,000 feet of school. The second I saw him, I said, "Oh, that he looks like one of those."
But what if you say it in an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent? Then could you say it?
It's YouTube. You know how they are. They're bastards.
It's one
But
of
you
my
know what I'm
favorite
saying.
words to
And
say. Like,
I thought, ooh, why do I get this gross feeling from this guy? And then it turns out everybody thought that when they saw it.
Dude, he's a weirdo.
Oh
Dude,
my God, he's so fucking gross and creepy.
All the world leaders coming to the White House, you would just see them coming out of a room, buckling their pants, and then another world leader would be going into that same room at the White House, unbuckling their pants. Because that's what Kamala. Who the fuck is going to take Kamala serious? What?
Her hyena laugh constantly.
What world leader would take her serious?
She laughs at her own jokes that aren't even funny, you know. And that's why when you're a kid, you gotta do your homework.
Yeah, what do you fall out of a coconut tree? What? Dude, she wouldn't stop anything from happening in the world. The world would turn into a classroom of bad children when a substitute teacher walks through the door. That's what this world would be. Sit down, kids. Stop throwing that. Who spit a spitball at me? The world would be fucking chaotic. And nobody would be listening to America, and everybody would be shoving us in the corner and fucking giving us swirlies and taking all our damn money. What?
Take our money and our women and just leave us there.
What? President Kamala Harris, get me on a rocket to another fucking planet right now.
None the Miser. I like calling him Tim Jazz Hands Walls, but None the Miser. I call him Tickle Fight Tim. I might like that better than Jazz Hands.
Dude, how badly would you beat a grown man if he ran up to you? Tickle fight. No, not a tickle fight. This is going to be a fight.
So when I see you again, maybe in the summer, and I want to tickle you, you're saying not to do that?
That's what I'm saying.
What if you look like a little bummed out, and I thought a tickle could just lighten your day for you?
I know what'll fix them. I know what I'm doing. Dude, imagine a stranger tickle fight. No, you're going to be fighting for your life on a fucking respirator if you touch me. I swear to God.
It's like, you want to GoFundMe? Because this is how you get a GoFundMe, buddy.
You want them to tape one of those tubes to your face so it doesn't come out when they intubate you? Fucking touch me and see what happens.
You want to be on like all your relatives wearing a shirt with your face on it?
Yeah. Airbrush. You want your name airbrush on a t-shirt? Yeah. Fucking try to tickle me, dude. Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Tickle fight. Oh, tickle fight Tim. And he always comes up behind you. That's the weird thing. He's always from behind.
He always had the spazzy hands. And I remember one time him, Kamala, and then like Kamala's husband or whatever that guy's supposed to be, and some people,
her roommate,
they all came out holding hands on stage. Bruh. But since he's such a spaz, he couldn't wave his hands because they were all had their hands down low with locked hands. So he started kicking his legs because he had to move something.
What a freak! What a freak!
And he's such an America hating commie. He's a wicked man.
Did you see what he did? Do you see what he did to the state flag for Minnesota?
Oh, yeah. It's a Somali flag, man.
It's a Somali? What, dude? Yeah. You're a sitting American governor, and you basically changed your state flag into a flag that looks like another country's flag, let alone Somalia? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the other thing was how that Omar lady, right, that married her brother allegedly and all that stuff.
Yeah. Who was misappropriating funds and gave her boyfriend $600,000. Yeah. Her.
Hey, what's a little grist between friends?
Wait, fucking tomato, right?
Yeah, who hasn't embezzled from the government?
Who hasn't embezzled $600,000?
Yeah.
Get out of here. We plucked you from the anus of the earth, and you have the nerve to come over here and talk shit. Dude, what happened to people having some appreciation? You lived in Somalia, and we brought you to America. You think you might have a little thankfulness and gratefulness in your fucking heart for the rest of your life until you die, because you lived in Somalia. Like if the earth was a body, you lived in its butthole, and we came and brought you to America, and this is how you act. I say, what's the return policy on that?
Yeah, defective.
Take your ass right back
one
to
of the squad,
shitting in the ground.
Those mouthy broads, the squad.
Yeah, we'll send you back to where you have flies buzzing around your mouth and your stomach's bloated from some kind of gas from not eating.
Fucking
bitch.
Anyway, back to the movie. So the mistress of the hooker gang, his mistress is captured by the alcohol gambling gang, and the son of the alcohol gambling gang, he's been captured by the other side. I think I have that right. I may have flip-flopped who kidnapped who. It's hard to keep these gangs straight. But it's just like Out of a Fistful of Dollars, where they're trading the one gang for the lady so it's the same scene. Again, this is why they got sued. So yeah, the trade goes down. The woman is there, the little boy's screaming, and it's not a pretty thing. And there's her husband.
That's her husband.
Can you imagine you give your wife to the local gangster to curry favor with him? What a horrible existence to live in. Because it's not like he wanted to. I think it's kind of like, hey, you can do that or you could die.
Your wife's kind of hot. Just like in Braveheart, where one of the guys in his village was getting married and the Englishman took her first before he had her on his wedding.
What do you call that? Like prima nocta? Like, hey, since I'm the king, I get to take them all for a test drive?
No, we're all going to die.
Like, what's that about? I don't agree with this policy at all. What are we talking about?
So we're all going to die.
Yeah.
And you're living in the town? Dude, fuck that gang, dude. Everybody who's in the vicinity when I get there, we're all dead. Because there's no way I'm carrying 2 buckets of water on a stick across my shoulder blades watching you guys fucking have fun with my old lady. With his son looking at him like, Dad,
Remdar straightens me out. He said he was owed a gambling debt. It wasn't to like curry favor.
Even worse.
Precisely. So now
even worse.
He's in such gambling debt that he had to trade his wife to that guy.
Fuck that guy now. He's an idiot.
Way to go, stupid.
You gambled so much that you lost your wife?
He's like, I know. I'm going to hit it on the next one. My son showed me a meme that made me laugh so hard. It said 99% of gamblers quit right before they hit it big.
Right? Like Vegas was built on winners.
Right. No. I remember I hurt my friend's feeling. He was at my house. We have this crazy football party, bunch of dudes. And he was Mr. Parlay guy. He had all the teams on his phone. And if I win this. And I'm like, I don't gamble because I understand math. Because like you're not gonna win. Like you are not gonna win. You're not, okay?
No, they're there to give out money.
One of the most exclusive neighborhoods in America is La Jolla. I may or may not live very near to it. I don't know. And I remember saying to my friend, we could go on that hill there and ask all those jillionaires how they made their fortune. And we probably wouldn't find anyone that won a football parlay. I'm just saying. This is not how money is made.
But are you 100% sure that he wouldn't find it?
They say somebody wins on the news. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Not you. I'm just telling you, the odds are in the hundreds of millions that you're not going to win.
Sir, before your expensive automatic gate closes, how'd you make your money? He goes,
it was a pick six at the 7-Eleven, man.
Parlay.
He's all, I had a 14-team parlay in the college football. I nailed every one of them.
I knew it. You were wrong, Gabe.
I was at his house once watching a UFC fight, this guy. And he had 10 football games on a Saturday, college football.
Shit.
And if he won all 10, we're talking a 6-figure thing here.
Well, yeah, of course.
And I'll never forget, he won 9 of them. And the 10th game, I think it was Virginia, the kicker missed a field goal. We were at his house, and he's like, and before the game ended, he's like, we're going to Vegas, and I'm buying you guys this, and we're doing that.
Yeah.
And then the stupid kicker comes out, and the game is over, and he didn't win shit. So.
Dude, a kicker who misses a game-winning field goal, you join the list as one of the most hated people on earth.
Well, yeah, first of all, if you're a kicker, you're not even a football player anyway. You're just a soccer player we borrowed to get some points.
You are even Hitler has his arms folded, shaking his head when a kicker misses. Like, dude, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You got one job. We got you 20 yards away, and you fuck.
Can you imagine Scott Norwood will be remembered the rest of his life as the guy that lost the Buffalo Bills the Super Bowl in 1990. Wide right, 3 feet from
Ray Finkel. He finkled it.
Yeah.
Dude. But imagine how that guy feels. Imagine how he feels.
So bad for him.
Oh
You know,
fuck!
he has like all kinds of frustration dreams. So yeah, I was just running and I couldn't catch up to the car, and all you guys were in it, or or
You
I
just laughed and
I
burned
kept
out my
punching,
face.
and the guy wouldn't fall down.
Guy
Like,
didn't hear me. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had dreams like that where you're punching, but it's super soft. You're
right.
not even hitting them hard. Oh, I hated that.
And I think those dreams I've heard are based in like you have a frustration in life and you can't get this thing to work. So
maybe it's a sexual frustration. But man, that used to piss me off. But this dude and a kicker, you're the smallest guy on the team by far.
Throw you in the trash after
you have to walk through this gauntlet of fucking Sequoia people to get to your seat, and they're just, and maybe you're on a team where they don't hold back, and they're just like, you fucking piece of shit. I don't know, but they must feel horrible.
It's got to be one of the worst. And like in the World Series, there's always going to be the guy on the losing team that is the final out at bat.
Oh,
and it's not his fault. There were 26 other outs. Mm-hmm. Like it's not his, and even the kicker who misses the kick to win, it's not his fault. The football game was 3 hours long. You had fucking 3 hours to win this thing.
But that's not how they're going to see it.
It's not how it feels. It's not how it looks. But if you're being logical, it is not the kicker's fault. It's not the final batter's fault or the pitcher that gives up the winning home run. But it sure as hell feels that way.
Yeah, and an emotionally charged moment like that. You know what it feels like to be a fan. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If you're a fan, if that's your team, you know what that feels like. You know how you feel when you're watching the game. You're pacing back and forth. You're standing up. Your heart's racing. Your palms are getting sweaty. You're emotionally invested in this. And then one guy in your emotional view fucks it all up. Yes, logically, like you said, you have 3 hours. And you'll realize that in about 20 minutes. Right. But right now,
after you beat his face till it's unrecognizable, you'll realize, you know what? It wasn't his fault. We should let him
win. You know what? Help him up. It wasn't his fault.
Untie his wife and his dog. You know,
my bad. Now I'm going to take this gag off. Don't start screaming.
Yeah, stop crying. You already cried enough, buddy. Okay,
dude. So, I did. There is a millisecond where you're like, this poor son of a bitch. Imagine a plane ride home. Where does he sit? With the luggage? Where do you sit when you're the kicker of the away team and you blew the fucking game? Where do you sit? You're either sitting all the way up front with the coaches or you're sitting like all the way in the back by the
shit.
You know
what I think it's really weird about the Super Bowl? It's got to be the worst thing in the world to lose the Super Bowl as a pro athlete. But the teams already have a scheduled, catered, fancy ass party right there next to the stadium. Sure, at a fancy ballroom somewhere nearby. Mm-hmm. And the losing team, they still go to their party. You know, like they're like, hey. You know?
They have a disco ball. It's making that little pattern
they got
everywhere.
Like Casey and the Sunshine Band there. Like,
hey, give it up. Was it?
Give it up to your NFL runner-up, the Carolina Panthers.
Hey guys, put your hands together for Sugar Ray. I'm like, oh, I love this song. You're all sad. There's a halo hanging around the corner of my girlfriend. Four-post man.
Red Dog says. On a related note, you can probably count on one hand the number of times the ref lost a team again. Yeah, I hate when the ref makes himself story. The worst league for that is the NBA. The referees have egos, like, and they'll like throw someone out, or the baseball umpire throws out the batter.
Where do you fall on the go fully automated? Have high-speed cameras. They can review the play in seconds, and they'll get it right every time.
I guess, I don't believe in instant replay. I don't believe in things like that. I think instant replays for crybabies. I really do. It seems like a lawyer's mentality of instant replay. And I get it. Bad things happen. There's like, hey, the ball's out of bounds and the referee misses it or whatever. But it just seems like a bitch thing. Like you're going to win on an instant replay technicality. It just doesn't seem manly. It seems wrong to me. It seems like a very weak mentality.
But so we want the fallibility, I guess, of humans.
Yeah, it's human. It's humans playing, humans refereeing, humans coaching. It's imperfect. We're imperfect. The whole instant replay thing rubs me the wrong way, and it makes football almost unwatchable. It was like
it slows it down.
Here's the worst thing they've done the last 15 years to football. They replay the touchdown every time to make sure it's a touchdown. Do you not understand entertainment? The guy scores. We're all excited, and then you tell me a minute later what you saw. It did happen. It's like, well, now the moment is past. You want me to jump up and scream again? Like sports are about the thrill of that moment.
Yeah, and it just is what it is.
We got this Taco Bell replay going on, and we'll tell you in a minute if what you think you saw actually happened. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Just it happened. Like whatever. I'm not a big NBA fan. Love basketball. Love playing it. I don't like the NBA. Too many 3-pointers. But I'm from Colorado. I love the Denver Nuggets, and they have the greatest player in the world, Nikola Jokic. And the Nuggets won on a 3-pointer with 5 seconds left. And I didn't watch the whole game, but my son called me in his room. He's all, dude, Dad, they're losing by 2 with a minute left or whatever. And I watched the last minute of the game. And it was so exciting. Big Baby followed me in there. The guy on the Nuggets hits the 3 to win the game with 3 seconds left. And we're all jumping up and down, screaming, going, oh my gosh. And Big Baby starts going, oh my gosh. Like she doesn't even know what we're watching. Like it was fun. And they didn't have to do a replay. And the moment was the moment, and I won't forget it. But the NFL, they got to stop the shit with the instant replay. It's so
well, that's because all the money wrapped up in it, all the gambling money and stuff. They got to get that shit right.
I didn't even think about that. You're so right. Yeah, that's exactly. It's the gambling. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, they got Jimmy Fingers in there.
Right.
With fucking, 250 grand. Yeah, I got fucking 200 grand on the game. Multiply that by whatever. And we got to.
I didn't even think of it. That's exactly what it is the gambling.
So, fuck you, fan.
Because I don't gamble, as we said 10 minutes ago. I don't gamble because I can do math, and I know that you shouldn't gamble. And I've heard people say, "How can you watch sports without gambling?" Like, because
easy. I don't
like
gamble.
Football.
I don't gamble.
I really
at
like
all.
Football. That's it.
I did bet a Raider fan one time because I knew I was going to win $100. But as far as like official betting, placing it with, what is that, DraftKings or some shit? Nah.
Right.
I just like watching it. But if some dummies, some dumb Raider fans like, I'll bet you $100 if we go to the Super Bowl next year. Taking that bet every time because
I did make a bet with Diesel that he had to call the Broncos his daddy if they beat the Raiders. Remember, we played the video on the show.
Yeah, he did it. He's a man of his word.
He's a man of his word.
Even though he's a filthy Raiders fan.
He's a filthy, disgusting Raider fan.
He's disgusting. He's a disgusting subhuman of a Raider fan. Yes, he kept his word. So I guess there's a couple crumbs of respect for that particular Raider fan. For other Raider fans, that doesn't mean I'm going to start respecting you, so fuck off. But Diesel, I guess.
You got my respect, Diesel. You were a man of your word.
Like, if there was the purge outside, would I let him in at the last second? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but his Raider hat stays outside.
That shit stays outside, and you put it in that pile of dog shit before you come in here, because that's where it belongs.
Would you? It's a beautiful woman. You're single in this scenario. You never even knew your wife. You're single, 25-year-old Jericho. Got a wad of cash in your pocket, 6-pack abs. Gorgeous Latina with the most beautiful feet you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm listening.
She got Raiders tattooed on her neck right here.
Well, she just put a ceiling on herself. This will never be anything serious.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to romp around,
it'll be a summer thing.
Sure, but I think a neck tattoo of any kind is going to give me pause.
You know what what's the trashiest one? I can think of like the lips, like the kiss, the lipstick kiss. That's pretty trashy on the neck.
Dude, I think the cursive tattoo on the titty, that's fucking trashy.
Just some other dude's name right on the boob.
Oh yeah, any guy's name, and no matter what the fucking font is, that's a fucking red flag. No can do. I told my son the other day, I said, son, you don't really understand this now, but remember what I tell you. If a girl doesn't know her dad, do not date her. If she doesn't have a good relationship with her dad, he was in and out of her life or whatever, don't date her. And he goes, well, what if her dad, he was there and he was a good dad, but he died? I said, yeah, that's okay. If he was in her life for a long time. He's like, what if he was in her life till she was older? I said, yeah, that's okay. But a girl who has daddy issues, don't do it. And there might be some casualties, in that broad stroke that I just made. But nah, man. Are there anomalies? Are there exceptions? Yeah. Where
do you come down on the tattoos? I'm 100% against tattoos. Hate them. Hate tattoos.
Well, I have tattoos, so I can't be against them. But I'm okay with my kids getting tattoos. I told them I'm okay. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. You know how many times I called my mom from wherever I was around the world, and she's like, don't get tattoos. Your body's your temple. And I'm like in the chair. Yeah, Mom. So that's not going to stop them. But I just hope.
Saw a tattoo on you. Is it the secret location?
No, but
does it say, welcome to Jamaica, have a nice day?
Yeah, but you only see the W and the Y.
Right.
But I just hope that they're strategic and they're classy with it. I've even told my son nothing above nothing on the neck, nothing above the shoulders. He's like, why? I said, because you might need to cover them up. And people might see those and think something about you. He's like, that's not fair. I said, life's not fair. People based on what they see. And if you come in there with neck tattoos and face tattoos and you're trying to be serious, those two don't mix. So have your tattoos, just put them somewhere where they can be covered up. Don't be stupid.
I followed in my parents' tradition and shamed my kids about tattoos, and they both are disgusted by tattoos. Neither one has one and said they'll never get one. So mission accomplished there. Because that's how I was raised.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I was raised that way, that we don't do that. You know?
No, my parents were like that. Neither one of my parents had tattoos. That wasn't one of their main focuses. But I knew my parents didn't want me to do that. All throughout my life. Your body's your temple. But
Heather, I've actually seen it. She says she had a great dad and have tattoos. She has an AK-47.
Yeah, it's possible.
She has an AK-47 tattooed on her stomach like Tupac.
She has two 9mm.
Yes, try me, bitch, tattooed on her neck.
She has the two gun handles coming out of her waistband. That's so 2002. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Yeah. No.
Who the fuck would tattoo gun handles coming out of their waistband?
That's weird.
Like, who the fuck do you think you are? What?
Pecos Pete. Yosemite Sam.
Unless you're Yosemite Sam, you shouldn't do that.
As an illustrator myself, I do find tattoos fascinating. How do you draw on meat and leather? I'm sure I could learn how to use the tattoo. It's called the tattoo machine, right? If you call it a tattoo gun, the tattoo artists get very upset.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell that pretension is about.
But what if you tried it? What if you were in some situation, you tried it once and you were fucking amazing at it?
I know I would be a great tattoo artist because I'm very good at drawing. So I'm sure if I learn the technique, I already know how to draw. It's just a new tool. Probably be inside of a month, I could be an A+ tattoo artist. I would learn how to hold that tool. It's easy, like I know how to draw, so I know what to draw. It's like a baseball swing or shooting a basket. You just learn the physicality of the tool, and then you're like, okay, well, I already know how to draw. So,
but there's some tattoos that are beautiful, like the colorful ones and shit like that.
Gabe, have you ever drawn a flash tattoo? I guess that's what it's called. Gone to a con or seen your work drawn it on someone. I drew a tattoo for a girl who, in high school, when I was a senior, a girl who was 18 asked me to draw her 2 kissing dolphins in the heart. Ooh, my wife might be listening. My wife doesn't know the story, but there's no reason to be jealous.
Ooh,
that's as far as it went. I did not tattoo her myself. I have no idea where that tattoo ended up on her body. But somewhere out there, 2 kissing dolphins in the shape of a heart is on a girl I knew.
Or some girl's butt cheek or right above her clam.
One on each butt cheek. The dolphin.
Adrian's gonna come in throwing your shit. Get out! Get out!
Get your shit and go to your whore. Your tattooed
I don't even know who she is. I don't remember her fucking name. And this is just a dream she had.
Right.
Dude, you women are crazy.
Right. My wife had a dream about me at something with a woman or a lady within the last year, and she was mad at me, but she didn't do anything. She knew it was ridiculous. But she woke up and she was like,
you know,
I should be mad, but I'm not totally crazy.
Because it was in fantasy land and it never happened. But it felt so real.
The French have a saying, when you think of a good zinger, but you think of it the next day or whatever. So the French call that the wisdom of the staircase. It's like you fought someone and you're already headed upstairs. You're like, I should have said this. When my wife had that dream, I should have said, well, was she at least attractive? Am I at least a player in your dreams? I'm not dating some moon.
How hot was she?
Yeah, don't tell me it was like Miss Piggy or anything like that.
Yeah, start rubbing your crotch when you say it. Like, how hot was she?
My wife is in the chat. Oh, my wife wants to know the name of
dude. Three question marks.
Dude, vixen.
Three question marks, 1 for each strike.
The tattooed temptress that I made a tattoo for 29 years ago.
Find that bitch.
What's her name?
Honey,
I forgot her name. Your name is the only woman's name I can think of.
Adrian, go Google bitches with kissing dolphin tattoos. See if you can find her. See if you can fucking find her. Go get one of his yearbooks and start pointing them out.
Tattoos.com.
Yeah. Southern California bitches with dolphin tattoos. Or were you in Colorado? You might have to travel, Adrian.
No.
You might have to hit the road.
All
right, good.
Yeah.
There you go. You can stay local.
Yeah. No. No,
San
people knew I
Diego
could draw 'cause
bitches.
I was always drawing at school. I wasn't paying attention to the lesson. I actually, I'm not even kidding you. This right here. Now, obviously, it wasn't this particular one, but this 300-pound smooth Bristol board. Well, you can't really see it because of the green screen. I carried this exact thing around with me my entire senior year and just drew comic book pages on it all day. I didn't pay attention to the lesson. I didn't care anymore. So,
But high school needs to change. High school needs to be more customized for the experiences that
Look at
kids are
this.
really going to have.
What's her name? And now Liar.
Liar.
Right. You got honey, right? Liar with like 5 eyes in it. So it's like Liar.
You fucking shit. I'll just come in there.
Old Renaissance boomer says, get a W tattooed on each ass cheek when you bend over. Says, wow.
Won't you have to like bend over and, you know, give some assistance?
He said, I told that joke once, and a friend's niece says, where do you get the O? Yes, she was blonde. So, oh, geez.
Oh, poor. Hey,
Heather,
that's like a good blonde joke.
Heather's working against me. Now she's going through my yearbook.
Yep. Oh, looking for the face of some bitch who would want a tattoo like that.
Right.
Then she'll go from there.
Liar. There was a girl I knew in high school, and she liked me, but I didn't, go out with her or do anything. But and she signed my yearbook. And then there was another girl who was super pretty, who I never, ever have spoken to. I think I had drama class with her, but I'd never spoken to her. But she was very pretty, this girl. And the other girl that liked me, like drew on that girl's face to make her ugly on like a totally random other page of the book. I've never understood this. Like
chick beef.
That girl has nothing to do with me. Are you ruining her face in everybody's yearbook?
I don't like that bitch.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with me. I never talked to that girl.
Yeah, but that's crazy. That's a little crazy. Like, don't fuck my shit up. What are you doing? Yeah, don't scratch her or make her face like that in your own fucking yearbook.
Yeah, she drew like big lips on her and like drew something else. I don't remember. I'd have to look.
I'd be pissed at that. I'd be mad.
Yeah, thought it was weird.
Bitch.
But there was a rumor that girl would smoke weed with the drama teacher down by the lake by the park. So that hopefully is not true because that sounds real nefarious. So
that shit is funny.
Yeah, there was a rumor about something like that. So
smoke weed with my teacher, man.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Dude, nowadays there's way worse things that teachers are doing with their students.
Feels like you hear about that every 4 minutes in the news about these.
Dude, where were these
32-year-old former pretty girl, and then they're like,
where are these 30-year-old
boys at their house, and it's disgusting.
Dude, where were these 30-year-old slut teachers when I was in high school? Like, it seems like they're all just tearing down these young men. Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, so weird.
Not what we want.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
So, anyway,
you're going to jail, lady.
So what we're having here is a failure to communicate. That's a great movie. Cool Hand Luke. We should do that one day.
We'll fix that.
That is good. Paul Newman. If I said my boy could eat 50 eggs, he could eat 50 damn eggs. What a great movie that is.
Every time somebody says there's a failure to communicate, they're about to fix that failure to communicate.
Yeah.
You can believe that shit.
Well, that's the way he wants it. So he gets it. Yeah, that's a great movie. So what we have here is the son of the one guy and the mistress of the other. Going to train him in the middle of the street, and everybody watches it goes down. It's very tense, but nobody gets killed. The woman goes back to her gambling husband. When this guy gets back to his mom, she's the big mistress for the hooker gang. She slaps the shit out of him.
Dude, the bitch slaps him. That's what I'm saying, dude. She slapped the shit out of her own son. She's like running the gang too.
Yeah, she emasculates her son though. She humiliates him, and he is a puss. To be fair, he is a coward. So I don't know.
But she's like, she's ruthless her damn self.
Yeah.
All right.
She gives it to him good. So yeah, let me go check Wikipedia because we talk way too much. I lost my place in the story. What happens next? Sorry, I've only seen this movie once. I absolutely loved it, but where are we after the trade? Right. Okay. So now what happens is Yojimbo Sanjuro, he goes to the alcohol gang guy, and he goes to the hooker gang guy. That's the guy you see in the middle there. No, that's the alcohol gang guy. He goes to him and tells him, hey, he was responsible for killing some of your men, not just kidnapping your son and this and that. So now the gang war is going to escalate even more. He's given a huge reward from this guy, a big chunk of money, and he gives it to the lady, the mistress, wife of the farmer. He gives her the money, her, the husband, and the little boy, and says, "Take this money and
get out of here.
Out of here. Get out of here. Get away from this. This thing's a powder keg. It's going to go full gang war in a minute here." The inspector from Edo, that's the capital city with the actual soldiers that they can send to kill all the bad guys. They fear them. That guy's not around anymore. He went to go investigate the assassination of another dignitary in another town.
He left finally.
So he left.
But before he lets her out, he tells the guy, because he showed up with one of the henchmen, and he says, "Go back." He goes in the building and comes out and says, "All 6 men," because he told him, "Hey, you have how many men you got guarding her? 6 men. That's not enough. You need to send more guys." So he goes over there to check on him, and he goes to one of the henchmen, and then he gets her. But he runs in before the henchman, and he comes out. "All 6 men are dead, and they took her. Oh my God! Go back and tell the guys. Tell them to come." So he takes off. So then he goes in there. He kills all 6 dudes, quick, fast, in a hurry, to make it look like the other gang's guys did it. Then he tears the place apart. He breaks shit. He kicks holes in shit. There's like grain and stuff in the ceiling. He cuts it open. It's everywhere. So then the other gang shows up. They're like, "Holy shit, those other guys really did a number on this place, and they killed 6 of our men." So he's telling them, go, get the fuck. That's when all the grain and stuff's falling.
Right.
He's telling them, "Go, get out of here, get out of here." But they come back and, "Oh, thank you." They're bowing and shit. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
I'm bowing.
Get out
Take
of
the
here.
money and leave."
We owe you. Thank you. He's like, "You don't owe me shit. Get out of here, man. What the fuck are you doing?" And he like has to literally push him and make him go and run into the forest and get away, because I guess showing honor and respect is pretty important. And he was like, "Man, do you know what I just did? For you staying here is fucking up what I just did. I go right now."
So now that some of their top guys have been killed and the mistress has been scooted away from town, that's going to escalate even more. And that's the prostitution gang. That's all wrong against them. So now in retaliation, they've lit the mayor's silk warehouse on fire, and then they blow up the sake vats where they're
they like knock holes in them, and it's like thousands of gallons just pouring out of all these
booze everywhere,
silos, everywhere. And they're trying to plug them. They're taking their shirts off, trying to plug the holes, but it's just coming out too fast. And
and you got to imagine this is financial ruin. If the mayor, who's in the pocket of the alcohol gambling, not the prostitution gangster, his silk factory or warehouse that's going up in smoke. It was lit on fire. In retaliation for the murdering of those guards and the freeing of the woman, and then also destroying the alcohol. There's no insurance policies. Like, you lose all this alcohol, you lose your fortune. You're done.
It.
You're a peasant now. It's over. So everything's in ruins.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's really masterful the way that Sanjuro Yojimbo is able to play these people against each other. But eventually they get wise to it. And
it's not good.
Right. They beat his ass, and there's like this freaking 7 foot, the Great Gazoo, like this 7 foot thug dude. That guy beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, he fucks him up. And just like in Last Man Standing, they had a real huge guy just like him, and he put the boots to him pretty bad. He gets his face gets busted up, his ribs, like they do a number on him because and it hits harder because up until this point he's been no blemish free. Like they haven't touched him.
Badass, just killing
they haven't touched him.
Seconds,
And this dude is just fucking monkey stomping him real quick. So, it's,
so now they lock him up. They lock him up. They're going to deal with him later, but first the gangs is going to be all out war, and they're all going to kill each other. You know what I mean? So as the situation completely deteriorates and the town goes to complete war, Sanjuro, the hero, he's able to sneak into a coffin, and the coffin maker and the bar owner, they're going to just walk him through town in the coffin. And the coffins in Japan were weird. It was like a giant bucket. It wasn't like our Western coffins that are big rectangles. This is like a bucket for carrying water, but big enough to fold up a human and put them in there. So they put the sticks on their shoulder, a big stick, and then they're carrying him in this bucket through town while the two gangs are tearing each other to shreds. They're shooting. The one guy with the gun is shooting and killing people. They're stabbing. They're burning everything. It's gone insane. It's all-out gang war. He's tricked these morons into killing each other. So his plan has worked. He doesn't have any money, though. He did give it to that woman. So,
he's broke because he was nice to that lady and her family.
Right.
Almost got him killed.
But, it's all-out war, and these are some of the prostitutes running away and screaming and crying. Again, the imagery in this is so beautiful. The way that the director, the way he captures the fire, the smoke, the people moving, the depth, all the layouts of the images, it's gorgeous stuff. These movies really blew me away with the camera work and stuff like that. Again, I'm an illustrator, I'm a visual artist, and I just like, this is gorgeous, this movie. I do think the movie is, what I've seen from this stuff, I probably have some rose-colored glasses on because these are brand new to me and stuff, but they're near perfect movies. I can't really find fault with them. The acting is good, even though I don't speak the language. You're convinced this guy's mad, this guy's happy, this guy's laughing.
Yeah.
The acting, you can feel it. The visuals are gorgeous. The score, the soundtrack is amazing. But the dialogue and the characterization of the people so deep. The one of the things that I haven't really stressed in this talking about tonight is the writer and the director and all that, and then the actors. They're conveying so much depth of human psychology and the way the interplay and money and crime and sexuality and morality and good and bad and all this, and they're nailing it. These human truths that we all recognize, they're nailing it, but in a stylish way that's very entertaining. And that's why I never watched it. The reason I watched these movies, I think I told you guys this, I was on the phone with my brother, and he brought up something about this particular movie, and he's talked to me about these movies since he was in college in the 90s, and he saw them when he was in college, whatever. And he just always told me how great they are, but I never wanted to watch them because I didn't know how good they were. I thought it was just sword fighting. I've seen plenty of kung fu movies and Hong Kong cinema. I'm like, okay, there's sword fighting and awesome jump kicks and whatever. This movie has almost nothing to do with the violence. There's great violence, there's great action in it, but it's the human characterization that blew me away in these movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you agree with that? Because I was like, wow, this is fantastic writing of human psychology. Did you pick up on that, or am I just seeing things?
Not for sure. And because there wasn't a whole bunch of violence, you kind of weren't not forced to, but that's what you kind of had to focus on,
right?
Were the other aspects of the movie, and they delivered. The way he was, how cool he was, how evil and how stupid. How like a couple characters that are like bungling idiots and they're overreacting. Right. The gruff old man who's just done with this whole town but doesn't want to leave. Right. The exchange of the hostages, I guess you could say, when their Billy Badass comes to town with the gun, like everything worked. The being black and white, it's 1961. They could, when they have Technicolor.
Yeah, they could have colored this, but for whatever reason it didn't. But it works. It's great in black and white.
But I think that adds to it,
I think it does too. It gives it this mystical is the wrong word, but it gives a real profound quality. I'm not sure how to say it. This is a great scene here. So they're smuggling him out in this coffin, right? And he's kind of like looking at a car wreck. He's kind of watching the battle, keeping his head down. He's peeking out of this coffin. And at one point, one of the guys carrying the coffin is like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And the guy on the right there, the fat guy with the unibrow, he's one of the main bad guys who would kill Sanjuro if he finds him.
Yes.
And he ends up helping the old man carry the coffin to the forest. So this is right out of Hitchcock, where Hitchcock has the great movie with Jimmy Stewart called The Rope, where two psychotic college students murder their college classmate, stick him in a chest of drawers or in a like a cabinet, and then there's a party in that apartment, and his dead body's in the cabinet, and his mom, his dad, his fiance, his friends, professor, they're all there, and they put the food on top of the cabinet. That's like everyone's grabbing the finger food. And these two killed the guy to see if they could get away with it. And it's one of Hitchcock's great movies. It's unknown. I'd never heard of it till last year. And it actually inspired a scene in my sci-fi book that I just wrote, where the good guy is doing something and he's secretly doing it. And the bad guy's getting closer and closer. And they end up facing each other, just like how Indiana Jones has his journal signed by Hitler in the third movie, Yeah,
and he's standing right there in front
of him.
Right,
and he's like face-to-face with Hitler, but Hitler doesn't know who he is. In my sci-fi book, there's a moment like that where the good guy is an inch away from the bad guy face-to-face talking to him, but for whatever reason that I'm not going to spoil, the bad guy doesn't realize who it is. And as a reader, you're like, oh my gosh, he's going to get caught here. And you'll see when you read it if he gets caught or not. But I love this, that one of the bad guys helps the hero smuggle himself out in this coffin without knowing it. I think that's really fun tension for the author to write. So let's see. Remdog, who's a Kurosawa expert, it's his favorite director. He told me on Twitter. The irony is Kurosawa could do violence at any level, fight, brawl, war, and do it perfectly. It's amazing he never fell into the trap of using it too much, only its punctuation. I think that's such a good point, dude, because I think movies with endless action. I remember the second or third Matrix movie, And the fight scene where the Matrix Robo bad guys attack the underground city of the humans is like the
third
last
one, I think.
hour of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's bore you to tears because it's too much. It would be like putting 8 scoops of sugar in your coffee.
Yeah.
Like one healthy scoop's enough.
Yeah,
Like
all the
that
fucking
much action is boring.
Yeah, they all keep coming through and they keep
Oh.
reloading and keep shooting. Yeah, that shit was boring. But in the right amount, a fucking giant robot with 2 miniguns would be awesome.
Yeah, but it's like I say, it's like salt. If you don't have enough, it's bland, and just a little too much, and you ruin the dish. And I think the action works that way, and I think the humor works that way. These Kurosawa movies, they're funny, just a little bit though. Like Indiana Jones, it's good for 3 or 4 good laughs, but the rest of it's pretty serious and exciting and thrilling. Nonetheless, says rope is only 12 scenes spliced together like a rope. Oh, how interesting. Yeah, Rope is a great one. You can rent it on Amazon for $2 or $3. Go check out Rope. It's a tense movie. It's really fun. I won't spoil it, but yeah, they're eating on a chest on a nice fancy piece of furniture that they stuck their buddy's dead body in because they are lunatic.
Damn.
And his parents and all the guests are like, well, where's Bill? When's he coming? This is his party. And he's fucking dead.
He's
3 inches
already
away
there.
from them. Yeah, I thought that was so the master of suspense, right? That's Alfred Hitchcock, right? So
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So he doesn't. The bad guy doesn't know he's carrying him away from the battle. He gets out. He gets out of that coffin. He is fucked up. He is injured and hurt. But you know what? He's gonna go down and rest at this little shack here. Recuperate. And someone comes over there. One of the guys comes over. It's either the coffin maker or the bar owner. They come over like, oh, there's trouble in town.
It's a coffin maker.
It's the coffin maker. They've got the other guy, the whiskey bar or the sake bar owner. They've got him strung up, and they're gonna kill him, and it's all over. So they go over there. They're gonna cut him down and free him. And this is just like in the Clint Eastwood movie where Clint Eastwood goes back to town. The only difference in the Clint Eastwood movie is he forges that piece of metal and wears it as a bulletproof vest underneath the poncho because the guy's gonna shoot him too. So Clint Eastwood is able to be shot in the chest a few times. But just like Clint Eastwood's movie copied, he's facing off with a gunman here. And he's only got a sword. So that ain't much of a fair fight. So the handsome Japanese guy that looks a little bit like half white or whatever, he's got the gun. Sanjuro's coming back to town. He's like, you're not going to hang my friend, the bar owner. And they have it out, but he's able to defeat him. And they're able to cut the guy down and free him. And it's pretty awesome. And look at that. What a great looking group of bad guys, dude. Look at that.
Yeah. And that was a classic shot.
That's
how
awesome.
they're like in a V, all the other guys kind of just go back.
But not
at an angle.
Not unlike a drawing. See, when I draw something, every line on the paper I chose to draw it, right? The pencil didn't fall and make a bunch of lines. Like I chose and in this shot here, everything in the camera frame, they chose to put it there. And I think as an illustrator, I think what's so beautiful about this particular shot is that fog, smoke, dust behind them. And that's creating what we call atmospheric perspective, right? That's what we call it in the drawing world. An atmospheric perspective is what it sounds like. The atmosphere creating depth. So when the blacks, like if there was any black lines in a drawing, but you push them into gray like that, it creates this beautiful depth and helps you make focus. And you got this beautiful triangle composition of the guys. The tallest guys are in the middle, and they get shorter as they recede back, creating more depth, more flow. I love it. And then the colors of the costumes, again, all of these are choices. This is not a mistake. You have the guys wearing black standing behind the guy wearing white in the center and stuff like that. You're framing this guy. He's powerful. He's important. He's coming. He's the main focus of this. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about how beautiful the shots in this movie are. I was so impressed with that because I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it would just be straightforward, whatever. And I feel so stupid about how good these movies are. I've heard from a million people how good these movies are. And I'm like, whatever. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, my God.
You can't see them all.
Yeah.
You can't see them all.
But I love this. I love this shot. There's so many shots like this in these movies that are gorgeous. And how many times, Jericho, do we see this shot nowadays?
Yeah.
Of the group
all the
of
time.
Heroes or villains. You got the Avengers, right? What's the famous one with Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis, Armageddon, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're all
Tombstone.
Right. Tombstone. They're all walking and the building's on fire behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Which is fucking cool.
Yeah. Need the smoke for atmosphere in the background. Kurosawa almost exclusively used long lenses. Oh, I didn't know that. So for those of you that wonder what he means by a long lens, so you have your focal depth, right? You ever look really good in your bathroom mirror and then you take a picture on your phone and you don't look as good? Most of that is your face is changing shape because of the lens. Here's an example of a short focus. When I do this, my hand is like bigger than me. That's short focus. Long focus, the hand is going to be the normal size compared to the body. So if you use a long focus lens in a movie, then everything's going to be its normal size next to each other. You see? So what that's going to do is going to make it look compressed. So what you do is you put the smoke behind them, and then you're going to get that depth. If you didn't put that smoke behind them, this shot would look really shallow. It would look like the background was right behind their backs. So I didn't know. Thank you for that tidbit, though, Remdog. Remdog, as I said, he was telling me on Twitter, he's like a student of Kurosawa. He says his favorite director and his favorite actor is Toshiro Mifune, the star of this movie. So the Wild Bunch, another one with a great walking scene. But yeah, this is an iconic shot. We do this in movies and TV. We do it in comic books. You have the hero pose like that where they're all coming at the camera. It's awesome. And of course, this is a villain pose, but whatever, same difference. So iconic. Just iconic, man. Gorgeous stuff. But yeah, as daytime soap opera good look bad guy is about to shoot our hero, the hero is able to throw a small dagger and hit him right in the wrist.
Yeah, you see him practicing with that earlier when he's in that room and he's healing up. There's a leaf blowing around and he throws his knife and catches the leaf and sticks it to
right. I should have said that. Yeah, he's showing his skill. And this is the same theme as in the Clint Eastwood movie. Clint is hiding in a cave where he's recuperating and all that after he escaped in a coffin. And he has some old machinery stuff, and he takes a piece of that metal and makes a bulletproof vest. So he has a surprise for his opponent. Like, wearing the poncho, you can't see the steel plate I'm wearing. Surprise, I'll win. This guy, he has the small dagger. I've been practicing accuracy. Surprise, I win. So yeah, he hits him right in the wrist. And then he's able to run up and take his ass out.
Yeah. But dude, he dies for like 20 minutes. Right. Like, if I had to say one bad thing about the movie, that guy was dying for a long time.
Right. But it did serve a purpose because they talk a little bit right at the end. And the guy's like, reaching.
Dude, but the way he's bleeding, like you can see the puddle. Like the puddle's bigger than he is. Like,
and not only that, the puddle's growing while he's talking.
Yeah, really fast. Like he would have been at least passed out. He would have been fucking dead. He lost like a gallon of blood.
Right. Yeah, and he tries to pick up the gun and he's gonna go to shoot him, but he's like so weak he can't even aim at him.
He fucked him up. Like I'm sure he hit some tendons when he threw that big ass fucking kitchen knife through his wrist.
Right. And he he dies the death of a warrior.
Yeah.
And then that's the bar owner and the coffin maker. They're the only little two good guys in town. And he tells the bad guy, "Your reign of terror is over." And that guy, they all meet their fate. They all go straight to hell. So it's justice is served, I suppose. And then our hero, he walks off in the sunset like a Western. I don't know. I love this movie. I'm definitely going to put this on repeat. I'm going to go by the Criterion Collection. Honey, if you're still listening and you're not mad about that tattoo I drew for that girl,
come on.
Tell the kids.
Come on.
These Kurosawa Toshiro Mifune movies would be very good Father's Day gifts in June on the Blu-ray Criterion Collection. Be a very good gift.
Tell the kids.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you get it.
Oh, and Remdog answered my question. He said, if you notice, the boy who ran away to join the gangsters was the one spared at the end of the movie. You were right about that, Jericho.
So he was running with the gang?
Yeah, he was he ran away to join the gang at the beginning. He's the one that Sandro spares at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So bastard. Luckily it was him.
Yep.
And he recognized him, or he would have sliced his ass up.
Yeah. I hope I did this movie justice. It is an outstanding movie, and they made another great movie, Fistful of Dollars, as I've been referencing all night. That is also worth a watch. Last Man Standing, I've never seen. Is it worth a watch, Jericho?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bruce Willis.
Love Bruce Willis.
96, it is at his peak. Yeah. Christopher Walken is in it, and a bunch of the guy who plays Sully in Commando is in it. I think.
Sully.
No, Andy Garcia is not in it. But there's some good ones. There's some good actors. Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Love Andy Garcia. I haven't seen him in anything for a while.
I don't think he's in it. I think it's somebody. who resembles him. But it's
whenever
a
I
great
think of
cast.
Andy Garcia, the first scene that always pops in my mind with Andy Garcia is when he's murdered in is it Black Rain with Michael Douglas, where they go to Hong Kong?
That's like 88, 89.
That's such a terrible death. It's such an emotional death because there's a fence in the parking garage, and Michael Douglas basically has to watch it happen, and there's nothing he can do about it. So, I've never seen The Lady Killers, old Renaissance movie. Never seen it. So we're gonna get out of here. It's 11. I got an early morning. Next week we have a treat for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Seagal,
Mm.
Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. That's right.
Uh-oh. What a movie. Have you seen that one before?
I have.
Okay, good.
I have.
Can't wait.
Before we go, I just wanted to tell you, Jack, I was really honored that you would pick my movie, my film, really, to be the topic of your show next week.
No, I think you were right when you said movie, because a film is reserved for movies that are more than a movie.
This is more than a movie. This is an experience. That's what I was going to say.
Sure you were. We'll see about that. We'll let the people decide.
What would you do if you had to stop terrorists on a train who were trying to download the codes to control? I forgot they were going to control something. I'm not sure if it's a satellite or a bomb.
It was definitely a satellite. In the 90s, it was a satellite. I would
satellite, a secret weapon that could start World War III.
I would call the professionals. That's what I would do. I'd leave it to the professionals.
You ever crawl on a train on top of one while it's going down a mountain, like a mountain valley in Colorado?
No, I usually sit on the inside where you're supposed
What's that like?
You should try it. You should give it a shot. Try being a normal person.
I booked tickets for a train that goes up through Alaska. It was a sleeper car. But when I got out in Juneau, I didn't get back on in time.
That's too bad. And I'm sure they finagled the paperwork to make sure that didn't happen.
Do you think they still have my bags? I had some really good kimonos in my suitcase.
No, I'm sure they threw those out.
That's not very honorable.
Well, you got to take it up with them. But you asked the question, I answered.
I'm gonna show up a lot next Thursday. I'll be here for a Q&A. Anything you want to know about Under Siege 2.
Yeah, okay.
So, feel free. You don't have to hold back. I'm an open book.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Guess what the name of my open book is?
No.
Steven Seagal's open book.
No, but how do you close a book? That's my question.
What is the sound of one book?
Yeah, how do you close the book? Everybody.
How indeed do you close the book?
Everybody knows about the open book, but how do you close the book?
Right. So anyway, I guess I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, I think it's time.
All right. I'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Bye.
There he goes. Steven Seagal next Thursday.
Hope he stays there.
All right. Is there anything you need to promote?
No, man. You know what to do. Keep your eyes peeled for what I do here on my channel or do on my channel. And make sure you're checking in on X, Rumble, all that good shit.
All right. Same for me. Follow me on social media. Go to bigmancomics.com. Get yourself some awesome comics. The other books we have, it's almost time. You're going to love them. All right, guys. Hit the like, hit the share, grow the channel with us, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.